1 2 chuffy chuffy 1 2 1 2 chuffy chuffy 1 2. This is you, and you being attracted to come and watch the video by this flashing hey you and me waving my hand. That should draw your attention. That should get you going. Oh, wet your whistle. Oh, hello. What's this? What's he waving his hand for? Who's he? What's he waving his hand? What's this? Have you seen this man? Right, that'll do for that. I'm just going to knock down my ISO a little bit. I'm a little bit bright. And hi. It's a little bit dark now, isn't it? A bit dark. You can't have it both ways. It sounds a bit light or a bit dark. I mean, well, over this side of my face is a bit dark and this side of my face is a bit light. Just forget it. Hi, you're with Scott. I'm Ganji Kid. I'm Grave Kipper. This is my stream. It's called Ganji Kid, the stream. I might change it to Grave Kipper. And it's midnight. It's always midnight. It's not midnight. It's Monday. It's 14:28, 2:30 in the afternoon in the UK, GMT. Tonight at 8 PM GMT, we're doing Mental Health Monday on Twitch. And now, have a bit of that, you like that, in case I have to edit it. And now, this is your right ear. This is your left ear. And we are straight into some more... Well, I don't know how to... I've named the stream today. I've named the stream The Disturbing World of Martin Liedtke. The Disturbing World of Martin Liedtke. David, wasn't it? A new friend of ours in chat, David, suggested Martin to us. So I've had a look at his work. And it is disturbing. It's kind of like, oh my God, where do I start? It's one of these Tartaria things. You know, it's one of these flat earth conspiracy theory things. It's one of those sort of things. Oh, actually, one thing I need to do is just let me check the sound. Disturbing. It's kind of like, oh my God, where do I start? Yep, I can be heard. I can be heard. I've got my chat on the screen. Everything's all good in the hood. So let's just start with this 8-minute 40 video. Let's just start with a bit, just to introduce ourselves to Martin. There is one thing I'd like to show you, though, before we do that. It's just that the problem I've got, usually you can get up, with these people, you can get up one of their videos, and they've made like, you know, like a million videos on all this stuff, look. They've made like a million videos on all this stuff, just picking randomly here. There's a lot of Feb. That stands for Flat Earth British. There's a lot of that, Flat Earth British. Mudflood Convention. Antiquitech, built to preserve. You know, there's all this reset stuff, and look how much of it there is. There's just like loads and loads and loads and loads. And the difference with Martin, the difference here is that what Martin's doing is he's making these hour and 20 minute, 2 hour videos. Like there's one there that's 12 minutes. So I might be able to have a look at that. Because 12 minutes, you know, might be... For us, what tends to happen is we look at one of their videos, let's say it's 12 minutes, yeah? And the first 2 minutes are so stuffed full with random conjecture and all sorts of random conjecture that you just, like, you can't follow it, and you spend literally an hour and a half debunking the first 2 minutes. So, I mean, the problem I've got with Martin is, where do I start? Because let's say you just pick any one of these videos at random, an hour and 40 minutes about the supernatural reset and population explosions. I mean, I'm going to be there for an hour and 40 minutes listening. I'm going to be there for like 5 days debunking. I don't know where the in is. I don't know where the in angle is to this. I don't know how we get into this. So what I did do is I just started here.
Oi. Flat Earth British, apparently at 1111. I went live at 1111. At Lincoln. We're at the bandstand in Lincoln. Lincoln Cathedral. We're going to be seeing in a minute. And you better stick around, guys, because we've got some big info. Squirrel alert! Squirrel alert! Squirrel sniper! Let's see, it's a beautiful day, guys. It's warm. There's a light wind. And all a fantastic piece. We've got Charlie the dog down there. Charles! Say hi to Flat Earth British people, Charlie. Charles and John.
1 2 check 1 2. Just checking my sound.
And all a fantastic piece. We've got Charlie the dog down there. Charles! Say hi to Flat Earth British people, Charlie. Charles and John.
1 2 check 1 2. Just checking my sound. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, so I mean, this is our start point. This is our method. Martin seems like a reasonably cheerful chap. He's out there first thing in the morning smoking his weed. Or it might be solids, I don't know. But he's out there smoking first thing in the morning. Now, there is something I'd quite like to pricey this with. You're going to notice me. Oh my God, how do I deal with this big face? I obviously I smoke weed. I don't talk about it on the internet because I don't want to make a big thing of it. I don't visually, like, you're not going to see me caning a big reefer on this image here. I sort of go off to the side and hide. Sometimes I'll smoke cigarettes. Sometimes I'll smoke my vaporizer because I'm trying to get off it, the cigarettes. So that happens. Like, I've got to be, honest about that. Yeah, I've got to be honest about that. You'll see me, I'm getting older. My skin's starting to lose its collagen. I'm starting to get older. One thing I'm aware of, because I've been a bit of a, alternative person into my rock music, into my hanging at the bandstand with my mates, smoking a bit. I'm a bit, not a full hippie though. I'm not a full hippie, and I never want to go full hippie and hippy dippy. What I noticed when I was young, is that there was like an industry around the smoking of weed and being a bit of a hippie. There were some shops in our local area. A good example. I don't know if this is still there. The shop. It's probably not, but permanently closed. Look, permanently closed. But this shop was in our local town. It's just an example of one of these sort of shops. You've got one in your town. It's not called the Queba, but you've got one in your town. It sells all this stuff, like dream catchers and tie-dye print stuff and all that sort of stuff, and old drums and incense. It sells incense. It's that place that sells the incense. You know what I'm talking about? It's the place that sells all the incense and the dream catchers and that. And what I realised when I was cooking, so we were popping in there to get Rizzlers and stuff, and interested in the alternative. Not fitting in with the norm. Interested in it. But then what I realised quite quick was this is just another shop, and they're just selling me alternative clothes. The more you get into it, the alternative, and into that hippie stuff, the more I realised these people are just being commodified and consumerised just like everyone else. It's just that they think they're being alternative, and they think their stuff comes from some Ethiopian handcrafted. No, it's just come from a factory and a warehouse, just like everything else. All this stuff in the shop just comes from a factory and a warehouse, just like everything else, doesn't it? And, if you go to all these shops around the country, they're all the same shop, really, aren't they? They're all the same shop. They're not a bit like a shisha bar, but, they're all the same shop. And if you buy your stuff from here, then you've got the same stuff as everybody else. It's just, you're an alternative. You're not wearing Adidas, but you're wearing the alternative version of, all this bohemian. It's all the same stuff. And then you get all the crystals and all the magic and all the woo magic. And I was never into any of that because I thought that's a load of rubbish, isn't it? That's a load of idiot rubbish. But, you got all this. It's also the place that I go for my Rizzler and my clipper lighter. So, I'm in there, in and out. I'm not picking up the crystals. And I'm very wary and aware of not being commodified because I'm just an idiot like all the other idiots. I don't want to become like this. What's the word? Look, they've even called like hippie gypsy. Look at this one. I don't want to become this cliche. I don't want to become something that you can go to a warehouse, buy a load of stuff, hats, drapes, bongs, whatever. Buy a load of stuff from a warehouse, sell it in your shop, and I'll be like, oh, I'm into that. Look, that's me. I'm quirky and vintage and different. And no, I'm just a shop. It's just a shop. I'm just like, it's the same thing as buying Adidas. It's just, I don't want to be that. And what I see instinctively in Martin is a bit of that, a bit of the flamboyant, a bit of the alternative, but also some things that you can just go and buy in the shop that come from a warehouse like every other thing. So a bit of confusion in that. So me personally, you might see, like I said, just briefing that, I'm not going to be like, oh, someone smoked weed, therefore this. I'm not going to attach a load of all this other stuff onto people. One of the other things that I find so, and it's interesting that I'm now talking about, it's not against terms of service, although in the UK weed is illegal. So, doing it on camera, smoking it, talking about it in a way, it is against terms of service in some ways. But, hey Luke, how's it going? So like, I've lived through this phenomenon, I've seen this thing. I recognise some of myself in this guy in a way. Like I said, I'm going to, that was what I was going to say. What tends to, okay, this is a good example, yeah? Let's say I'm at the bandstand, right? And I've got my little smoke on. someone like Martin might come up to me and go, all right, buddy, how's it going? Smoking the weed, are you? Yeah, me and you are like, can I have a little go on your reefer? And I think, can you just chuff off and leave me alone? I'm not some tramp. Like, I used to smoke weed when I was professionally training as a hairdresser. It sounds bad. Professionally training as a hairdresser. I used to be a junior, and I used to go off on my little break and have a little quiet little chifa, and then go back in, mop the floor, wash the hair, get on with my work. It didn't mean because I smoked a little reefer, I was in the Wizard of Oz land with all the hippies and dippies. I just needed to take the edge off sometimes, self-medicating. So, like, if someone came up to me and said, oh, can I have a go on your reefer? Oh, is that weed you're smoking? I'd be like, have you got a sandwich? Give me a bite. Are you drinking a cup of coffee? Can I have a sip on your coffee? No, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Stay away from me. And I had a load of friends during my time, because here's another good example. When I was unemployed between jobs, when I came back from university, before I trained as a hairdresser, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And for that summer, I went back to my roots in a way, and I went down to the Bancroft Gardens, the local Riverside Gardens. I took my guitar, and I sat there and had a little strum. Before you know it, you're in a group with some other people like Martin, and the reefers are getting passed around, and you've made new friends. And some of them were really nice. I had a girlfriend from that group. Some people were really nice. Some of them, like some of the hippy dippy ideas, went a bit far for me. Some of the hippy dippy ideas went a bit far for me. And I was like, look, I might be wearing, alternative lifestyle clothing. I might not be fitting in with the Adidas crowd, but don't start thinking I'm like you. Don't start thinking I'm like Fruit Lops like you. Like, I'm not. I just, I'm in the middle somewhere. And it's sad in a way, because I kind of don't fit in with anything. I'm not fully street. Yeah, in it, mate. Wicked geezer, mate. In it, wicked. I'm not fully street. I'm too alternative for them. But for the full alternatives, I'm too street. I'm somewhere in the middle. What I'm trying to say is I don't buy into the crowd and the group. And I certainly don't buy it from a shop. I certainly don't think my identity comes from that. But I worry a little bit about Martin immediately, because, it's on that tip, isn't it? It's on that tip. But I'm not only just judging on first impressions, but you do judge people on first impressions, don't you?
Minute, and you better stick around, guys, because we've got some big info. Squirrel alert! Squirrel alert! Squirrel sniper! See, it's a beautiful day, guys. It's warm. There's a light wind. And all the fantastic peace.
He's got a cup of coffee there that he just drank, I'll have you note. So he's been to a shop and he's bought a cup of coffee. Look, is that from the alternative hippie shop? Or is it from just the shop? I don't know. It's one of those cups, though. That could be going into his system, microplastics.
And all the fantastic peeps. We've got Charlie the dog down there. Charles, say hi to Flat Earth British people, Charlie. Charles.
And what's happening here is, look, they're all meeting up. They meet up, these Flat Earth people, these, like... I mean, this one's a Holy Grail one, but they meet up, these Flat Earth people, these tartarians, and they go for little walks and stuff. So we're going to come back to this. This is the video that we're going to key off for today. But if I show you sort by most popular, sorry, not most popular, sort by newest, these all look like, they're videos with images in the thumbnail. Yeah, images in the thumbnail. But what they actually are, after the advert, what they actually are is just like long live streams.
Do that.
With
time.
Martin and some other
people. That's what we're dealing with.
Smoking, chatting, having a go. Big live streams. And some of these are also, what they do is they get together as this group and they go and have a wander. It's like they've toured the UK, the Great Reset Tour. So a lot of these recent videos are just like people walking around chatting, and it's hard to, like, they're not making a point, they're not setting out an argument, they're just videoing themselves as a big group of people who are confused wandering around. So, it's hard to get into that and to talk and debunk. I just wanted to show you that's what the content was and why we are now on a Holy Grail tour of...
Flat Earth British.
Tour of, like, why these people are grouped together. That's what I'm trying to say.
Say hi to Flat Earth British people, Charlie. Charles and John. Don't be shy. Hello. Say hello. Charlie, say hello. Aww. Yeah, so we got Charlie as well as Flat Earth British mascot. Hiya, Charlie.
I mean, another thing I would say is that I feel worried about the weed aspect, because I'm not negative about weed. However, that's like saying I'm not negative about cars. You know, they're just objects, but it's the way you use them that's important, isn't it? I could be negative about cars if you're not going to wear your seatbelt and crash it through my front room. You know, it's a context thing. So I'm not suggesting that just go out and smoke loads of weed and everything's fine and everyone's going to be fine with that. Like, that's great. I'm saying that we need to decriminalise it. It shouldn't be a criminal aspect. But for me personally, and I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, if I'm going to be talking on the internet for a while, I don't mind having a little bit of a puff on my weed, yeah? If I'm going to be doing that. But if I'm going to be driving my car down the motorway, I don't really want to be stoned. You know, it's context, it's time and place. So I'm dissing him because it's first thing in the morning, early morning, meeting up with the group, bang, big reefer. But then, I don't know, maybe that's appropriate for what you're doing. But I thought if you were going to try and think critically about things and, you know, present arguments on the internet, maybe I'd need to take a leaf out of my own book here and not smoke so much when I'm doing these videos. But I'm an entertainer, aren't I? I'm here to entertain. So, and the other thing, like I said, is I do appreciate, I don't smoke in the blow my head off. Like, what I don't want is to get a little reefer, have a little smoke of it, blow my head off, be all angsty and sweaty and anxious. That's not for me. I just want to be a little bit, take the edge off, a little bit chilled, a little bit chatty. So I've got my, you know, over the years I've come to my my balance. But when I was young, I'll admit, I found it harder to make that balance because, you know, there's no control, there's no no one around you giving you that education on how to be balanced. It's just like a recreational thing. You get wrecked. You know, I found it harder to have that balance, I'll admit. So I'm not here singing the praises, but also I'm not here denigrating. I'm just saying it as a thing that it is.
For today. We're borrowing it for today, alright? That's our gonk. For luck. Can you remember them?
Oh no, instinctively, I like Martin though. Like, we've been suggested to come and watch. Oh wait, look, there's too much chat. And what can I do about this? I can web browsing. Can I get my browser? And I'll just cut off the edge so you can see our chat instead. We don't need to see their chat, do we? We don't need to see their chat. I'll just cut that off. And we'll just, because I don't want to be, you know, it's too much for me to be, sorry, tapping the microphone. Let's hope that's not going mad. It's too much for me to be looking through all their chat as well. I'm not going to be, you know, let them have their anonymity. Let's just focus on the one thing. You love watching schizos on YouTube. There's a guy called the Grox Alpha Omega who's right. Yeah, this is another aspect. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, Luke. That's another aspect. Schizophrenia is a serious mental illness. We're doing Mental Health Monday later on, 8 p.m. GMT on Twitch. So, you know, I tend to veer away from being mean about people with mental illness, but also if someone is suffering from delusions of schizophrenia, I do want to highlight it and point it out. And, you know, I think it's dangerous to be just going mad with your mental illness on YouTube. I think those people are actually vulnerable and need help. So I do appreciate what you're saying there. In terms of just a, you know, a general term, you know, schizo, like people are a bit loop. I'm happy to sort of throw that around a little bit, but I'm a little bit careful because I do Mental Health Monday every Monday, so I don't want people to come back and say, oh, you said so and so was crazy or schizo, and now you're doing a mental health thing, so how dare you? You know, I don't want that to come at me. But I do appreciate, actually, in another way, that smoking weed, thinking alternative, rejecting the mainstream, that's one thing. That's one thing, and I'm like that. I'm like that. You know, I don't just say, oh, because Boris Johnson said it, it's right. You know, yeah, obviously I'm not like, but at the same time, I'm not anti-vaxxer. You know, I've not gone down so far down the rabbit hole that I've lost my marbles. My mind is not so open-minded that my brain has fallen out. Do you know what I mean? So I do appreciate that if you smoke a load of weed and you get all these funny ideas, you can actually veer into that schizophrenia. You can like self-induce a kind of schizophrenia, or what I would probably call a psychotic break. You can do that. And I don't know, you know, I'm not suggesting that people should smoke weed and go and search for the Holy Grail, certainly. I don't know where Martin fits on this spectrum, but I do know that I just can't help but think he seems like a cheerful chap. You know, I'd probably enjoy having a chat with him, a smoke, a chat, no problem. Until he said something like, oh, I didn't get a vaccine, then I think, oh, you killed my nan. Until he said something like, oh, I believe this and that, and then I think, oh, you're dangerous and idiotic. You know, if you think that and you think this, then maybe, you know, I don't want you to go and, like, for example, let's say he's got some weed and he said, oh, do you want to smoke? Do you have a little go on? Oh, that sounds nice. Or maybe it's not good weed. Maybe it's horrible fake weed because you're an idiot and you don't know what you're choosing because your mind's fallen out. You know, if I don't trust his opinion and his judgment on certain aspects of ideas. Maybe I don't trust his opinion and judgment in a general sense. Maybe I worry about that. Oh, Martin's going to drive us tonight. Oh, does he have to? Because I worry about Martin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm quite happy to sit and have a chat with him, but I don't want him in control of any aspect of my life.
Oh, conk. Anyway, good to see you all, guys. Make sure I share this out. What we got here? Hi, Chuckman.
Here's another point. I'm discussing openly because I'm honest, yeah? But like I said, I don't like put my reefer in my mouth and like, you know, do all this on camera for a number of reasons. One reason is I don't want to be a bad role model for younger people. Another reason is that in the bigger picture, you know, I'm building a media product. I'm happy to be myself. I'm happy to be authentic, but I don't want to deliberately sabotage myself with something that maybe a potential future sponsor might say, oh, we're not interested now because of that. I don't want to potentially sabotage my... I'm not here trying to be... Where's my big face? I'm not here trying to be the font of ideas. I'm not here trying to say, I've got a new theory. You should trust my theory and not trust the mainstream, am I? That's not what I'm here doing. But if I were, I might try and present myself as someone that can be trusted. Do you know what I mean? Understanding human nature, understanding psychology. When I was a hairdresser, I dressed smartly because I wanted people to come in and feel comfortable and confident in me as the hairdresser. If I'm doing this on YouTube and presenting, you know, new scientific ideas, alternative scientific ideas, I'd like to present in such a way that I can be believed. Do you know, in advertising, original early advertising, for example, when they're advertising washing machines, they would have a man in a white jacket, looked like he was a washing machine engineer with a clipboard. He'd just be an actor, but it'd do the job of selling the washing powder because people believe in the character because the way they're dressed. It's human nature, it's psychology. It's not honest, you know, it's not that man really is telling the truth because he's wearing a jacket and a clipboard, but it's basic. So I could say to myself, you know what, I'm a really good hairdresser. Some hairdressers wear ripped jeans and whatever, you know, they don't care, they're flashy and fashionable. But for my clients, it's them that's important. It's not my fashion that's important, it's their fashion, it's their hair. So I'd like to look like a comfortable pair of hands, a professional. I wore black trousers, a belt, a black shirt. I looked smart. When people came in, there was 2 hairdressers in the shop. One was his hair all punked up, and I remember I used to work at this place where me and this other lad were both vying for the same sort of customer base, and he had his trousers around his arse and his belts and his chains and, you know, a ripped t-shirt, and he was cool. His hair was funkier than mine, but nobody wanted him to do their hair because he looked like he, like, you know, didn't give a shit, whereas me, I look professional. So the ladies were a bit more a bit more confident in me because of how it presented. So that's just a note. You know, it's not a diss. It's not a diss. It's just a note. Web browser. Because Martin is making these videos. I mean, he might not be asking people to trust him. He might just be presenting information, and it's up to you whether you trust him. But he is, you know, presenting this information, and yet, like, this is something that I find so bizarre about so many media producers on YouTube, is a lot of them don't realise that YouTube is a media format. So if you're interested enough in the Holy Grail and the Tartaria and the mudfloods, and you really want to present that, learn about making media. You know about your mad conspiracy theories, you've got that down. Learn about making media, because this is media. They all have struggle, all the true crime podcasters as well, they struggle to get their live feeds going, and once they've learned how to use a live feed, they're on the live, but they don't edit that because they can't. And why don't they just learn how to use computers and media? Why don't they learn about lighting and cameras? Because that's the main thing that you're doing. That's job one. The content itself, what you're saying, and that is sometimes content is king and it comes first. But in their minds, it's sometimes the only thing. It's like, it doesn't matter whether I'm using a camera and an iPhone or it doesn't matter whether I present as someone tramping it up in the park. People just believe me. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I haven't had a shave, have I, for a while? I'm in the same boat in a way. It's just a conversation. But then again, I'm not, trying to become authoritative and convince you that some weird conspiracy theory, am I? So.
Hi Angela, hi Vividness, Sweetness. Right, shall we? Let us do this tour.
Quick note as well, talking of schizophrenia and how their mind works, we did an episode on schizophrenia on Mental Health Monday, and one of the things that we note, like if I see it, I'll call it out in other people in this ilk, is there are certain ideas that seem to build in a certain way about self-importance, about gravitas. You know, maybe you're speaking to God, maybe you're being given messages, maybe you're the only one that understands these things. That's, you know, a big flag and a worry. But yeah, it is really interesting to see how people's minds work in different ways. And I suppose stresses in life, troubles can play out in different ways mentally, but also they can show themselves in your physical behaviour, can't they? So, and maybe that's why when we see someone who's smartly dressed, buttoned down, we think, oh, you've got your shit together. And when we see someone who's scruffy, like me with my beard, you know, I've only got a beard because I haven't needed to. I work indoors, so I don't, you know, have to go to the bank anymore and have the clients come in. I'm on the internet talking to you, so I feel that I can let my beard go. But maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe I'm working the opposite. I don't know. You know, it's interesting, isn't it? Don't know why the sound ducked out there. I think someone must have been saying something that he decided to mute, or maybe, like I said, maybe they don't because they don't know how to mute it. I don't know what happened.
So guys, Lincoln is fantastic.
That spliff's burning your hair.
And we found out something really important.
Also, this troubles me, right? This troubles me. I'm a bit of a perfectionist in some aspects. I mean, I used to say that you're just going to set that on fire so it doesn't matter. You know, if you're going to make a reefer, it doesn't matter. You're just going to set it on fire. But I've also been, one of my favourite things, I can't believe I'm talking like this now. One of my favourite things to do, one of my favourite things I've done in my life was, especially being the hairdresser, right, and having lived my life, I've been in some situations where I've said, oh, are you smoking weed? Do you mind if I make a little, have a go at, can I have a go at making a reefer? And the people think I'm a straight-laced person. I'm wearing the suit, I'm wearing the smart shoes, I've got the black trousers, I'm a hairdresser, and I've bumped into them at the park. I'm chatting to their friend because I'm friends with all the people, and then they said, no, okay, yeah, and is that okay? And I do you fold it like that? Okay, you fold it like that, and then I make this absolutely perfect, absolutely, get your protractor, get your ruler out, absolutely perfect corner. And they're like, wow, look at him, you can make these giant perfect corners. Wow, how did that happen? You don't look like that happens. I think it's funny, but also I do think that you know, as much as you're going to just set it on fire, the beauty and the enjoyment for me in some ways is that crafting of the, I don't smoke cigarettes, I smoke roll-up cigarettes, because the crafting of it calms me down. Sometimes I make the roll-up cigarette and then I put it aside and have a little go on my vape, and then that's enough. It was the rolling of it and the taking 5 minutes out to do some mindfulness maybe, but obviously for Martin it's not the same, is it? You don't mind. Slam that banger together, get it burning, hanging out his mouth.
And we found out something really important.
I would also not smoke around kids. You know, public places, okay, you know, I don't mind a bit of loudness, a bit of loud. I don't mind a bit of loud. You know, I think the government have put all these funny ideas out there. I think if people get used to the idea that someone's smoking weed, oh, and they're just nice and normal, and now they're talking to me in a very civil way, well, that's changed my opinion of weed. Maybe it's okay that they smell a bit of weed from here, from in there. What's not okay is if you all hang out like a bunch of hippies, have a fire, leave your mess, and that's the people that are smoking weed. I'd prefer it if people got a different, you know, on those marches, you know, when the marches happen, you know, when they do the marches like legalise weed, and it's all the hippies and they've all got dirt everywhere and they look like a load of yobbos. I think that's terrible. Wouldn't it be a better look if it was all doctors and lawyers marching? Wouldn't people listen more if you dressed up smartly and looked presentable and showed a good, you know, positive social, like, development side of things? Show that it's helping you in your life rather than like you look like the dregs of the earth. We don't want these people and their ideas dredge through the streets. Free the weed, is that you? Dirty hippies. Let's take away the stigma. And how do we do that? By the people that are doing it in public stop dressing like the stigma.
Adam, tell the flat of British peeps what happened to that lion.
According to my mum, apparently she painted the spray painted those bollocks on that lion red and then sawed them off. And got arrested for it. And that lion,
so this lion had a big pair of bollocks and his mother chopped them off.
So there you go. Fuck the system. Fuck the balls.
Fuck the lion, fuck the bollocks, fuck the system.
obviously fuck the system as far as, but you want that chain that you're wearing, you want your phone, you want to be able to go on the internet, you want to be able to broadcast live. You've been to the opticians, you didn't fuck the system at the opticians, you allowed them to measure your eyes and provide you with glasses, probably on the NHS, and you're smoking, like, the Rizzler are provided for you through the system in shops, through trucks and commerce. So fuck all the system apart from the bits that you want to engage with and enjoy. Like, I used to be a fuck the system. I don't think fuck the system. I think, subvert, engage with, change, veganize the system, but don't just completely fuck it off, because there are some good things about society.
Legendary.
You see, like, we've got these people in our local town that hang around in the park all day doing this, but we think of them in a negative context.
Okay. So, you had a pair of bollocks out, like. Adam, say hi.
YouTube, hello.
Flat thumbs.
Peace and love.
So, these are the fellas that have got all the information that we're missing. These are the fellas that got all the information we're missing. Adam, I wonder if Adam is really down with all this stuff, or if he just needs people to hang around with. If he just hangs out, like, Adam might be drinking in the park, smoking in the park, hanging out with the people that happen to be in the park. And if the people in the park say, oh, we believe in flat earth, he's into the flat earth, he's got someone to go along with. And if the people in the park say, we're into the triangle earth, he's into the triangle earth now. He doesn't care about the ideas, he cares about the drinking, the smoking, and the hanging out in the park.
Flat thumbs.
Double flat thumbs to infinity,
Double
right?
flat thumbs, but I've got some lids to put in the bin. Because this shocking, abhorrent creature...
I haven't got no ham, son.
...didn't put it in the bin.
I have no...
God, now they're grassing each other up on live stream. He didn't even put his cup in the bin. Well, fuck the system.
No ham.
He's shocking.
Fuck the bin system.
Disgraceful.
I don't litterbug.
Andy tried to pitch my coffee.
Sphinxes. Sphinxes.
Obviously, I was mean about that chap who I don't know anything about. I was just making a jokey value judgment. I don't know anything about that chap, and that's not me. That was a joke. I feel bad for saying it now. You see how I work with my heart? See how my heart? I can't be mean to people for too long without feeling guilty.
It's like the entrance to Crystal Palace here that was.
No one's mentioned that these steps should have been dug out of the mud, are they? Are we talking mud floods yet? Someone's got their coconut water there. It's vegan. Oh, absolutely. But is it produced by a company? Yes, absolutely. Is it produced by, a different company than the normal company that you see on the supermarket shelf? Yeah, but it's not like some, home mom and pop. Like, it's just a big company that pumped that out, isn't it? Like, we like shopping, don't we? Just buying different things from different shops. That's the alternative. That's what alternative culture is. Buying different things from different shops. Not being special and unique and individual and, just not being the norm, but still being the norm, just in a different way.
What, Sphinx? It's different species. So, very pretty Lincoln. Excuse me, my hair's out of my face. Okay. Excuse me.
Oh,
That's why I wear a hat when I broadcast, to keep my hair out of my face.
crikey. I wish I could lighten your burden, Martin.
I'm fine.
A bit weighed down myself as well.
Ah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, always am.
See, he seems like a nice guy. I was being mean to him, wasn't I? I was just saying he's like a trampy guy who goes in the park. I was just like suggesting that they could group up for different reasons, but it was just a jokey suggestion. Actually, he seems like a nice guy. Again, Martin and this chap, they seem like nice people who I would enjoy spending time with, until they said something that I found not just ignorant, but offensive, because the knock-on effect of the ignorance has recently been the death of my nan, the death of my friend, the death of my fencing coach, all these people who suffered because of ignorance during the COVID, all those sort of things. These people could be a lot more beneficial to society and a lot more productive if they had a little bit more of a think.
Playing Glastonbury Tour of all this, mate.
Yes,
Having said that, you know, I don't know these people aren't vaccinated. I don't know they're not, you know, didn't take it really seriously. I don't know that. I'm just assuming it because people with funny ideas have other funny ideas, it seems. They all seem to be in a big group of funny ideas. But I'm finding it hard not to cast value judgments on people through first impressions, because they've given me this first impression that these other, like, this is true as well. This is fair to say. I've met loads and loads of people that hang out in the park. You know, I've been one of them sometimes. I used to drink as well in the park. You know, I'm not like full alcoholic, you know, first thing in the morning, but me and my mates, then me and people who were in the park, and you know, like, I've seen it all. I've seen this side of life. I've seen it all, and you will get a group of people that aren't actually that nice, that maybe steal from each other, that are maybe on the smack or the crack, you know, infiltrating this group, around this group, and because the tramps and the homeless sort of look the same as the drug addicts and the ne'er-do-wells, maybe people have got in that situation through being, you know, halfway down the spiral and then whatever. I'm not trying to say I'm not compassionate towards drug addicts, but if people are going to steal, people are going to threaten, people are going to lie, people are going to cheat, people are going to, you know, do all these horrible, you know, be violent, whatever. I don't have that time to be that compassionate over other people who need help. And quite often these groups can meld and intermix, which is why I saw these characters. I recognised my past. You know, I recognise people who present nicely, but after you've known them for a few weeks, you start to think, actually, you know, you might be very polite on camera, but actually, you know, where the hell is my packet of Rizzler gone? Where's my lighter? Have you got, you know, don't do that to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people chances sometimes, and they take opportunities to, sometimes the pool of the opportunity is too much for them to steal the drugs or manipulate the person or, you know, take advantage of the situation because, you know, they ain't got many things to grab hold of. So I group them in with that mentally, subconsciously, by accident, because tramps.
One time about what's the weirdest thing you've seen at sea, and you said a mermaid. Can you tell me more?
Not right now.
Not right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying they never existed.
So he saw a mermaid, but he's not going to speak about it.
Troll for that.
He got trolled for it.
Yeah.
Make it clear, I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling. I'm being recommended these videos by people that watch us because the people that make these videos have got spurious ideas that they're spilling out into the population, and it's kind of dangerous ignorance. So I'm here to counter that and hopefully, you know, shine some light into these people's lives that might make them think differently. Hopefully be a bit of a portal into some different ideas for these people that they could get on a bit of a different tip and actually, you know, go. They've got good energy. They just need to get refocused.
Any excuse for them fucking lot to troll you, innit? See, anything don't fit in their paradigm, brother, that's it.
Because anything that don't fit in their paradigm, that's it. See, this is the weird thing, is that I'm more on their side than they know, isn't it? I'm like, with all these flat earthers and all these tartarians, I'm the one debunking them, and yet I'm the one who like when I was growing, like, this is interesting talk points, and it's a way you're going to get to know me. During the COVID, I had to go to a funeral. It was really sad. It was one of my mum's friends, someone who I'd knew since I was young, who had babysat for us and, you know, been a family friend. And she sadly died of cancer during the COVID. And, you know, it was really hard because when people were suffering, we couldn't all go into their house and be around. And, you know, we could only just turn up at the funeral and stand outside the church. We couldn't even go in. So it was really difficult and really sad. And there were people there that recognised me from like my younger days and said, "Oh, Scott," one of them came up and said, "Scott, what about all this COVID? It's all conspiracy, isn't it?" And they started to, you know, chat the conspiracy and said, "Because you were on that before everyone. You were on that. I remember you saying this conspiracy stuff before anyone else. You were well on that. Now it turns out you're right." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was right about what I was talking about before, but don't think this is a conspiracy. Keep yourself safe. Wear your mask, you fool." Because when I was younger, I was saying things like, I don't know how to quite, you know, I was on that whole zeitgeist tip. I was on that whole, not antisocial, but they're there to sell you oil to line their own pockets. You know, I recognise that the war in Ukraine, Boris Johnson, my Prime Minister, is out there right now selling guns in Ukraine, making his friends and his peers money selling guns, like looking good, looking statesman-like, lining his pockets. They're doing the economy so they get rich and we suffer. You know, I'm into all that social stuff. I'm not it's not all conspiracy theory. It's just, an alternative viewpoint maybe. And I don't believe the mainstream, and I also was undermining the mainstream news all the time, talking about how do I put this? Terrorism is not as black and white as it seems. We have MI5, CIA agents working within terrorist cells who, to the terrorists, appear to be terrorists. So you can say categorically, we've got MI5 and CIA agents working in the terrorist cells. They're undercover agents, aren't they? Yeah. And sometimes they don't reveal themselves. Sometimes they're part of the terrorist network. So for me to say that I believe sometimes terrorist events happen to scare the populace, or are allowed to happen, or are not prevented from happening, or I don't know how to quite, I don't know how to quite say these things without sounding like a nut myself, but the populace are the collateral damage, and it's very unlikely that you would want to blow up buses if you wanted to make a point in political terms. What blowing up buses achieved was counterproductive for terrorists in a way. I don't know. It seems all a bit of a murky world is what I'm saying. It's not black and white. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we didn't land on the moon, but I am saying that Stanley Kubrick did film that fake footage so they could use it in marketing and advertising, and that they're trying to baffle you in marketing and advertising all the time. And, marketing and advertising is just manipulation to make you buy shit you don't need. That sort of tip. See what I'm saying? See where I'm at? So I'm not this and I'm not that. But if it came to it, if I had to go and work in the bank or sit in the park, I'd sit in the park. I'm not going to, fuck the system. Fuck the system. I was born to rage against them. Do you know what I'm saying? I was born of, I witnessed Rage Against the Machine making their albums. I went to see the Battle of Los Angeles in the UK when I got the opportunity. The Battle of London. I went to see Rage Against the Machine live, and it was one of the most important events of my troubled childhood. These things mean something to me. Yes, I will sit in the park. I will fight in solidarity. I will protest. I'm vegan. I don't buy into the economy of shame. Not in the way people here go and buy a nice throw from Liquiba, the shop. Not in the way that I'm buying my... but I am. I have to buy things from Amazon. I have to, use certain items. So I'm just the same. I use a phone and all that. So that's why I'm not trying to tear down the whole system. I think we need to adapt, change. And I think it is happening. It's not a big political speech from me here. It's not a big political speech from me. But, the rise of veganism, the global warming thing, the appreciation of that we have to be kind to each other in order to survive, that we can't just be selfish, that sort of stuff. Less reliance on foreign oil, less Boris Johnson and his friends lining their pockets, more social good, social justice. I'm more of a socialist, aren't I? Not a Russian, not like a Marxist, but... it's not an easy thing to fix. So I'd rather be in the park than in the bank. So it's a strange one, this, for me. Oh, my kilobytes dropped right out then. That's a bit of an issue if your kilobytes are up and down. My kilobytes are up and down like a fiddler's wrist. Oh, they're up again. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I'll go herky-jerky. If I'm herky-jerky, it's my end, not yours. I apologise, but, the system knows that I'm talking about it, so... what am I going to do? Let's see some more of this.
True or not, they don't care. Crocuses are up.
Beautiful. Yeah, down there, Martin, there used to be a thing called the foundry.
Right.
My grandfather was the foreman on the steam hammers. But,
did they whack all night?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same in Cardiff when I was a kid. Could hear them.
This guy's nice. He's having a chat and sharing some information. I actually like him. I'm sorry that I made a joke about him being a tramp earlier. That was mean of me. It was just based on first impressions because they're all at the park, smoking reefers in the daytime. You can get the analogy, can't you? So I apologise for that again.
Those cooling towers, how old do you reckon the cooling towers are? If it's
Luke says this. I took a look at some of this guy's ideas. They're definitely out there. That's it. I've able to just glean some of the general principles from looking at the YouTube channel, but it's so hard for us as a debunking exercise to go through any of them because they're hidden in amongst like a million hours of random ramble content.
Found me.
I couldn't possibly say, brother. That's the mystery, isn't it?
So he's asked him, are the cooling towers built or are they found? I can categorically tell you they're built. You know, you'll have the records and, you know, they didn't find those cooling towers, they were built. But it's strange that Martin decides to swerve the question. Is he trying to be careful about what he says on YouTube in case he gets done for, you know, saying some false information? Or is he just swerving it? Is he using YouTube and is he using these people to get views and therefore money? And he doesn't really believe this stuff. That's a possibility, isn't it? I don't know. This is the first meeting, my first impressions.
But not when they say, and not in the Victorian era. The Victorian era was fucking Armageddon. Yeah, and just before. So, well, history's a lie, but I mean, it takes 2 generations to forget about it, you know?
Quite, yeah.
When they got hold of the news and everything else, what have we got as a benchmark?
So this is what happens. So, okay, let's just assume he's not just making it up so he can get some views. But all history's a lie. It takes 2 generations to forget it, which is why we write things down, carve them in stone in some places, paint them on oil canvases, record them in computers, all sorts of different mechanisms, oral history, and then you verify and cross-verify. So it can take 2 generations to forget, but lest we forget, I mean, how do you know that people died in the war with Hitler? Because we keep talking about it, don't we? We keep showing the pictures. We keep talking about it. Keep that history alive. So if you just had 2 generations of society without record, then yeah, it could. You know, let's say you take one generation and drop them off on a desert island, and then they have kids, and you take those kids and drop them off on another desert, and then they all arrive back okay, they won't know what's going on. But even those people will be able to just look around and say, oh, look, this isn't here of its own volition, is it? This is a pile of bricks formed into a structure. So I'm going to start with my theory of buildings, that they were built. And when were they built? I don't know. I found a book. What does it say in this book? I don't know. I can't read any of these letters. We're going to have to learn what these letters mean. We have to figure that out. It's going to take some time. We'll work it out. You know, it's not all lost, is it? It's not all lost. And when these people, the irony is, when these people look back into the photographs and back into the history and whatever, and try and give you evidence of a different kind, they're only doing the same thing that we do to verify the validity of our perception of reality, aren't they? You know, looking at things, using them as evidence, recording, cross-referencing, verifying. So it seems strange that that would be put forward. And then on top of that, he's just thrown in there because they've got control of the news media. Well, they haven't got control of me. Remember that. I'm doing this. I'm alternative, remember. I'm independent and alternative. No one's chuffing, but like, you have to pay me through tips. So it's strange it could be. I remember growing up in a world with no internet, where the news media held a lot more sway than they do now. And we've entered into a new era of critique and, you know, now the mainstream news media seem to hold less sway than the people that debunk them and critique them on Twitter, if you know what I mean. You know, people are much, much quicker to say, oh, that's just the mainstream news. You have to look into that a bit more. We now understand the newsgate. I mean, I don't know if Martin understands the newsgate, because I studied sociology at university, which really helped me to understand the world and this context. But because other people studied it and wrote books about it, so I can learn about that. I did a whole, you know, module on media. So not just media making media, I did media studies, but I also did the sociology of the media. So I know about the newsgate. You can't put everything on the news, can you? Today's headlines are everything that happened today. No. So someone's got to decide what's the most important thing to say. And they come forward with all their stories, and the editor decides which one goes first and second and which one's the headline. That is the gate. Not everything gets through that gate. Humans are involved in the decision-making process. So we have to question what's beyond the gate, what didn't get through the gate and why, who's making that decision. We have to look at other kinds of media. We have to see and then we have to have our own mental newsgate of what I think should be valid and what I think I need to listen to and where to find it. They've said this, should I look into it further or just accept it? Are they telling me this to promote, like, you know, while Boris Johnson's shaky to privately owned news media try and point at other things to look at? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Are there other agendas? Yes, absolutely. But if you don't understand it from a sociological perspective, if you don't understand it from an economic perspective, because I also studied economics, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, I'm just saying these are the reasons I feel that I've got a good voice on these topics, is that if you don't understand those mechanisms, then you can have, oh, it doesn't seem right to me, oh, maybe this, maybe that. You can have theories popping up, but other people have had those ideas. They've written the books, they've written the studies, they've thought more deeply about it, they've given it names and psychological principles, and, you know, go and learn it. Go and learn it, and then see if you still have these ideas popping off about aliens and lizard people and, you know, flat Earth, and, you know, it's got an easier explanation. It's got a more natural explanation regarding human behaviour, regarding greed, regarding economics and politics and power. You know, there are misguidances. The news media are being owned and operated by people with an agenda. But it's not the agenda to hide the flat Earth, and it's not the agenda. In fact, these conspiracy theories, this is a mind blower as well. This is a really big one, so I'm going to do big face for this. This is a really big and important point for these conspiracy people to hear, is that, do you remember Donald Trump? Donald Trump promoted fake news. Donald Trump promoted fake news. Donald Trump became president. Donald Trump owned the National Enquirer. He realised people were writing stories about celebrities, so he bought the newspaper, the trashy newspaper, the trashy one that pumps out all the gossip and the rubbish that people don't even actually believe 80% of the time. He bought that and he pumped out a Donald Trump story every week. He raised his own profile amongst the uneducated masses who consumed the low-end media. They don't even believe it, so it doesn't matter if he says bad things about himself, just as long as he's in the spotlight. He became so known, and so he created a persona of himself as a rich businessman with power. Even if he doesn't have loads of money, he created the persona in the media, in the minds of the masses, who became the electorate that he then preyed upon. And the fake news, the conspiracy theories, the flat earths, the lizard people, he wants more of that out there, because people that should be thinking critically, that should be fighting the real power, the Boris Johnsons, the oil barons, you know, that should be fighting the real power, that should be protesting against, you know, the real ills of this world, are now confused, disparate, talking about chuffing flat earth and other rubbish. And like, if you're looking at that and you're the people that are confusing the masses, you're like, look, they've spotted there is a conspiracy. They've spotted the news media has an agenda. But in order to put them off the track, we're going to put out loads of bullshit conspiracy, loads of fake news, so now you can't see the wood for the trees. And lo and behold, there they are out in the woods searching for the trees. They've missed the point. They're being bamboozled by the news media. Where do these flat earth ideas come from? Okay, people like me are talking about it on YouTube. Oh, people like you are talking about it on YouTube. YouTube is the mainstream media. The filter of YouTube, what you are and are not allowed to promote on YouTube, is the mainstream media. YouTube is owned by the great big mainstream. They put their filter through. I'm not allowed to talk about certain things on this channel. I'm not allowed to talk. I used to have another channel, which, if you ever find it, good luck. Well done you. Please don't tell people on that channel that it's me. I did it fake. I didn't want to put my face on it. I didn't want to put my voice on it. I just wanted to know if people would listen to and believe the things I said, and whether they, you know, my being me took away some validity, I believed. I just wanted to not to be judged on me, but on ideas. So I did this channel. It took off quite well in certain aspects. And I didn't choose to continue. It wasn't conspiracy nuts. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but I didn't like it because of the way I felt I was basically doing the sort of stuff that YouTube wanted me to do, and falling into this sort of trap of bullying people and being mean. I don't know, you know, social commentary in ways, whatever. But so I don't like my point. My point. Oh yeah, that was it. My point was, on that channel, I made a video about, you know how conspiracy theories and false flags and killings. Oh, they didn't really get shot in that school. It's all false flag. You know, these people didn't really die. It's all a conspiracy. Well, actually, you know, in my opinion, some of these things are really serious and really sad, and people are really tragically affected. And for you to be going out there and saying it's not real is kind of offensive, you know, disrespectful of the dead. So I made one of these videos that said basically that. And what did YouTube do? YouTube said you can't monetize this because it's talking about a difficult topic. You can't monetize a school shooting. All right, fine. I wasn't talking about a school shooting. I was talking about their ideas about the school shooting. But fine, I won't, I don't get to monetize that. So I stopped making videos talking about the violence and the conspiracy theory that surrounded those killings. I stopped it because it was no good for me on my YouTube. YouTube didn't want it. Sometimes they'd block the video or whatever. Sometimes, because it was sometimes it would have to be 18 plus and whatever. I'd bin that off. So YouTube shapes my content. Yeah. And then I watch the news and they're doing the same school shooting. They're reporting the same thing. They're monetized. They're not blocked. So the mainstream media is allowed to talk about it. It's just that people like me are not. It wasn't even me. It was a faceless me. So nobody knew who it was. So just people are not. So they shape it. YouTube shape. I'm getting agitated now because these people are on YouTube sharing their ideas on a mainstream media platform. And he's there saying the mainstream media have got their agenda. Well, you're part of their agenda. They want people like you to confuse the masses so they don't vote on the real issues like gender equality, pay gap, like more police on the street, or what the police should actually be doing, or Boris Johnson, Richie Sunak and his wife are made loads of money. They're not even taxed in the UK. Matt Hancock gave those PPE contracts to his friends. The real serious politics. These people, these hippy-dippy park people, should either be in force as the Green Party or in force behind the Labour Party, not worried about people burying things in mud 500 years ago, not worrying about people, you should hear me, Martin. You should hear me, Martin. You're a powerful person, Martin. You've got this platform. People are listening to you. Why are you filling their heads full of shit when they could be out there protesting against killing animals, when they could be out there protesting against killing people? We should be protesting against the environmental destruction. We should be protesting against the war in Ukraine. We should be protesting against, why are we not doing that? Because we're out smoking weed, walking around looking at buildings that have got mud on them in the past or some shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Forget this nonsense. And even if you believe it at your heart, realise that its place on the priorities list is actually very low down. Because even if the powers that be have done this thing, even if they've manipulated the whole world to believe a load of nonsense and the free power, all of that, the way to take it down is we need to fight the people at top, fight the power at top. They're the people that have done this. They're the people that are holding this conspiracy over us, isn't it? So let's take them out of power. Let's remove them from their positions of power. It starts with grassroots movements supporting political ideas that can, like the Green Party and the Labour, unless you think that the Green Party and the Labour Party are in on it as well, which you could, whatever. In that case, we have to become politically active and become the people that get voted. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Fuck the system. Fuck the system, yeah. Okay, we've got to change the system. But let's change the system. You're not changing the system by going around, oh, but I am changing because people are getting educated and then they'll fight the system. They don't need to know. You're putting people off with this shit. You're putting people off with this shit. And the people you are catching and making interested are going on some weird tangent down a rabbit hole, when in fact they should be grouped together with a very serious and clear objective. End oil power. Share the money. Tax the rich. Even if we can't change the whole system, if we can start weakening their position and strengthening our own, if we can start educating the masses, they're teaching us to hate the masses when we should hate the masters. They're dividing, confusing. Shaitan confuses and whispers. If you're part of those whispers, we are lost. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Let's get back to it.
Newsreels of the past.
Sorry. Maybe dragons rolled electromagnetic. I don't know how to start on that, Luke. But propaganda and made-up numbers become facts. Yeah, absolutely. It's just hard to, you can't just start with the whole news media as a. Going back to exactly what I was saying at the start of my critique of this, is that if someone's going to say, do you think these things were built in Victorian times, you can't then say, oh, by the way, the media, and then this, because it's too big a thing. The media is like a 6-month project. You can't just say to someone, the media's corrupt, so just get, you know, there's so much, we need to take things in small chunks, not throw out great big concepts as if they're penny sweets all over the show, because it confuses people.
How many days rested between
Media producer.
you have 2 days rested?
Well, I did the tour yesterday to basically get a feel for it. So what you make on this then, Adam? Top's missing.
I've smoked a lot of dope around here.
Yeah, he said, what do you make of this then? He says, well, I've smoked a lot of dope round here. You can see why though, can't you? That somebody who can't really operate the camera, doesn't understand the sound recording, is doing a disservice to this media product, if that's, you know, a serious message. And promoting the marijuana as like a focal point, oh, here's me smoking it, oh, my mate's talking about it, ha, isn't it cool? Like, I never do that, even though I use and smoke marijuana. I never promote it that way, because I don't think that's cool. I don't think that is, you know, I think that's a bit childish. And like, I think if that's the, you know, the front-facing media, this is your media in this fight for truth. This is your media. Oh God, you know what? I feel so. I don't make media for certain companies. I was offered jobs for companies that I would turn down. I have not been a big successful media producer. I had some opportunities that I had to turn down because I think, honestly, I turned down. I don't know if I was really offered it or I turned it down, not whatever. But I talked my way out of a really good opportunity because I said I'm not going to be good on a film set. I'm not going to want to do what someone says. I'm not going to be quiet in the background while they shout their mouth off. I'm not going to see them as special people and me as what, you know. I'm not going to. Oh, you're right, hoity-toity, right? Oh, do you mind if I come up, please have a little conversation with you? You know, I don't care about those people. I'm not into that shit. So, like, you know, it was agreed that maybe I'm not the best person in that position. But other things like, I wouldn't work for Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola are a bad company that do bad. I'm vegan, so I don't pay into the economy of shame, and I don't like work in the economy of shame. So if you run a butcher's, I can't make you a video. But if you run a charity, I've made videos for charities where they haven't even paid me. So I'm not getting, you know, on in the media world in that way. Fine. That's my choice, yeah? But I'm a good media producer when I put my mind to it. And I'm not just going to... this is a point I'm making, so I'm going to have to make this point. So I'm going to make the point. Let me show you what I'm talking informal films. This is me. Alright. What do I want to show you? Go on, we'll start with this just because. I apologise, I made a mistake by putting it full screen. We'll start with this. How do I go? I want to go to the actual video. I want to go to the video on... I'm an idiot. I can't even work YouTube. Videos... I'm going to show you a couple of my... You know, I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but it's context for what I'm about to say. So, this is... It's an important context as well. This is... Why is it not working on the screen? That's the only problem. Web browser... Browsing... in this one. Okay, I've got it. This is my film that I made because somebody died in our local community and I wasn't like a big part of their life. What am I trying to explain? I'm sorry, I'm trying to resize the window and explain things at the same time, so I apologise for my lack of... You see what I'm talking about? Media production. This is this hippie thing though. These are the people that spin the fire. These are the crew. You know, I'm friends with some of them. I wasn't majorly part of this particular, you know, groups come and go and you grow up and then there's more and I recognise those kids, they're just like me. Like, So when this happened, they did this fire spinning to commemorate these people that had died in a car crash. And I went out with my camera and I made a little video for them because I thought it was the sort of thing you should do. And this is not a financial, you know, I didn't charge anyone any money for my media work. I just went out with my camera and took a little video for them. And in the end, they played it at the lad's funeral and it was just meaningful. So it's media that just shows you that I make media, yeah? And this is all 2015, 5 years ago I did this, 7 years ago.
Got to ignite the light and let it shine. Just own the night like a 4th of July. 'Cause baby, you're far away. Come and show me what you worth. Make a
So you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, this is my crew. Well, they're not my crew. They don't know me that well. I don't know them that well. But this area of the park is where I grew up and, you know, hung out and smoked my weed. And these are the people that are now at the park. Whatever. Like, we share a similar soul. I made them this lovely video and it was, like, not the best thing in the world, is it? It's not like an amazing... It's not like I'm Stanley Kubrick, but I did it and I make media, yeah? So I'm critiquing media on the internet. Another good example would be, this is the Brighton Veg Fest. This is the Brighton Veg Fest.
Hi.
So I'm just going to skip into
They have
it.
a good set of ethics.
When you see all the suffering that's going on in the world, and when there's such a variety of alternatives, there's no other choice but to support the sustainable lifestyle. It's just a healthier choice, it's a compassionate choice, and it's life-giving rather than a life-destroying lifestyle. Nowadays we're very fortunate to have different alternatives and healthy alternatives, so that as a vegan you're not lacking in anything. So we have a whole variety of meat alternatives, from vegan sausages, vegan burgers, and then as well cheese. And so we're not lacking in anything.
So like, it's quite straightforward, isn't it? I've made a little video. This is a friend of mine that we
What's
went
your
to this...
favorite vegan food that you usually suggest?
Cakes, and more cakes.
You know, we interviewed a few people, we took a few shots. It's a little bit shaky cam in places. You know, I'm at one of these places with just my camera and a microphone and a friend, and we just put this together, and it's quite good, isn't it? Like, it's not. I'm not saying I'm Stanley Kubrick again. I'm just saying, look, here's a full. That was a John Robbie was there, and that's his band, and these are vegans, and we chat to them, and you know, it's just a little video. Now, if I want to put an idea forward, veganism is good. This is a good way to do it, isn't it? This is a good way to do it. I can't actually make that sort of media all the time. Sorry, my face is off the edge of the screen because I'm trying to show you the thing. I can't make this sort of media all the time. It's cost a bit of money, to be honest. I got into the Veg Fest for free because they let me in with my camera, but I had to pay down to go down to Brighton and stay in a hotel. And I was trying to build my vegan channel. This has had 33 views. So I don't know. I don't know. That was on the vegan channel. It got more, obviously, because I'm looking at it through the prism of informal films here. I also was lucky enough to be part of the Eddie Strongman documentary. You know, that was on Netflix. I went to the International Sports Hall of Fame, did interviews with people. You know, I interviewed all the strongmen and all that. You know, I'm a media producer, yeah. So I know that if you want to put an idea across, that's why what we do here on stream. That's why what we do here on stream. I've got a decent image, hopefully nice background music. Hopefully it's, you know, I'm trying to produce media of a certain quality. I'm not deliberately trying to make it rubbish. when it is rubbish, I'm not deliberately trying to make it rubbish. It just sometimes is a bit rubbish. But if you want me to, put you together, we've got the ASMR road trip documentary. That's on the someone blowing into my ear ASMR. It's a nice video. I've got I've done the ASMR videos. They count. But also I did a electronic press kit and a music video for Meme Detroit. Actually, the music video is not on here because she didn't want it to be. She wanted it just to be presented on her one channel. But I've done a music video for her as well. And media production of a certain quality, of a certain standard. If you're trying to put across a message, that's what we should be aiming for, isn't it? Even if your message is about the Holy Grail and the chuffing. Do you know what I'm saying? Even if it's that, you should be aiming for a bit more of this. And you should be understanding that presenting it in this way isn't really doing you any favours, maybe. That's what... The only reason I wanted to reference my own work there is so that I'm not just being curmudgeonly and mean about, you look at the way you're holding the phone, or you haven't even got the phone on its side, you idiot. Like, I'm not even doing that. I'm just showing you that in my brain, I do this critique, and that is why. And you've got to accept as well that this has got more views than me on YouTube. This has got 2,000 views. I put up new ASMR now, it gets 1,000 views. I'm happy with that, I think it's great. But this has got 2,000. So I'm punching up and they get the subscribe and view me. Where's my subscribe?
What? No, them there. No, they're to hold the building together. That's it. They're brackets. There's a pole that goes right the way through the other side, and you can see them. They pin the building together so it don't buckle. Yeah, so it just pop out otherwise.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So this would have been much higher because obviously that there is blocked off. That looks like much higher. This thing here is all blocked up. So whatever this thing was.
So it's a weird. See, this is cool. We finally got our first bit of random. Because it's the way it works, isn't it? Of random conspiracy theory. You might be able to see the metal plate in the wall that has got he's talking about some structural metal, those things do exist, yeah. But now he's suggesting all of a sudden that because this archway, this would have been higher. We're standing at a higher level. Ground level has been raised, he's suggesting. I don't know why.
Had something on top, which is no longer there. It's mental.
And yet still useful. I just find it so heartbreaking when you think what's been taken away.
Well, that's the thing with it, isn't it?
Although we do know, because we looked into it, didn't we, that since Roman times, anything that's built way back, the ground level does raise because of debris that builds up around it. That does happen.
Breaks everyone's heart. It was a beautiful world, and now we got plastic corporate bullshit. Yeah. Plastic fans fucking-tastic, the world is now.
He's complaining about the plastic corporate bullshit to a woman who is wearing a plastic gilet made in a factory, sold through Amazon, bought from China, holding a coffee cup made of plastic with a plastic lid, with a bag that's natural materials, probably full of stuff that's made of plastic. Like, using a phone. I appreciate, right? I appreciate we could yearn for a more traditional lifestyle, but you have to accept modernity is good. Children die less frequently in a plastic world. Like, okay, we want to get the plastics out of the ocean. We want to stop using so many plastic bottles. We want everything to be recyclable. I get it. But modernity has led to a lot of positive things too. I do not want to go back to shitting in a hole in the ground. I do not want to go back to no antibiotics. I do not want to go back to pre-internet days, to be honest. Even those short jumps. I don't know what Elon Musk is getting up to, but I'm looking forward to an electric car. Yeah, so modernity is not terrible. Some of those plastics have enabled... I mean, I can't do any of this without those plastics. So I want them out the ocean. I think we need to be more responsible. But I don't think that the plastic world... Or maybe he means it like, the commercialised, commodified YouTube advert world. Oh, damn it, we're on YouTube. I don't know. don't know.
It is. All of it though, you know, the electrical things, the things they got, just the signs, everything is spoiled. There's nowhere without it. That's an interesting little thing, yeah.
That's not true, of course. There are places that are free from signage. You just have to go. I've been to the woods yesterday and just been out in the woods. There was no electrical signs. There were some cables on one of those. You know, if you look around I will be able to see the electricity pylons at some point. And you know what I think when I see them? I think, what a world we live in, eh? What a world we live in. I don't think, God, that's a scar across the... you know what, fair enough. If we put up loads of wind farms, why don't we put the things in the sea? Why don't we use the tidal energy in the sea where you don't have to even look at it? I don't know. But if we put up the wind farms, there might be a blight on the landscape. Get the fucking free energy. There's pros and cons, mate.
That looks World War II though, because of the concrete.
Looks like World War II because of the concrete, or it could be 1970, or it could be like 1980 because it's concrete. So how do you know how to age concrete? Just by looking at it.
Okay. So, hi Jay. No, just saying hi. Say hi to him.
Oh, hi.
They are listening to you.
Yeah, it's the soullessness of everything. It's just
I found Bath soulless. Maybe it was the stone.
very dark.
Oh my God! It's the soullessness of everything. It's the soullessness of everything. I found Bath soulless. Maybe it's the stone. Maybe it's the stone. Old stony Bath. Maybe it's the stone. Soulless. Soulless Bath. Maybe it's the stone. Here's Bath. Just randomly dropped us in the central area. Soulless place that it is, look. Maybe it was those chuffing Romans building these straight roads, and maybe it's the stone. Look, maybe it's soulless. Soulless? What a strange thing to find as a negative about this really unique and, well, not unique, I guess, but really interesting. Bath's a very beautiful place, isn't it? It's a very beautiful place. That could be your little house, your little normal house on the street. It's not just a little normal house on the street now, is it though? Because you've got like that, almost like a Roman, almost living in like a Roman villa. Like, it's kind of cool. There's a lot of hills in Bath. I've been out in Bath drinking as a youth. There's a lot of hills in Bath, up and down the hills. When you go walking in Bath, you're going up and down hills all the time. It's quite close to Bristol. Sorry, I don't want this stuff on here. Let's close that. It's quite close to Bristol. So you've got a similar sort of... Bristol's got its own... Bristol's definitely got soul and a vibe. You know, it's like a hippie... not in the derogatory way that I was saying hippie earlier. Look, this is a fascia that's being put over something while they're building or something. They're doing some art on it. That's quite soulful. What's this? Colourworks, the printers. Bristol's got a very alternative vibe. Drum and bass, dope smoking, protesting. Banksy came from that area, you know, Massive Attack, the band. They've got their own sort of vibe, and Bristol is just up the road, so you get some of that spillover. But Bath is a little bit more, I would say, that's quite a cool building, isn't it? Bath is a little bit quieter. It's got a bit of tourism because of the Roman aspect of it. It's a spa town. The Romans settled there because it was a spa. So it's a bit unfair, really, in my opinion. I know we're only talking about opinions, but, you know, it's not soulless, is it? It's quite... I'd be very pleased if I lived in Bath. It's quite a nice place, look. A lot of historical architecture coupled with some quite... it hasn't got as much brutalist concrete architecture. It's got a bit more... I don't want to say contrasting. I want to say when it's not it's the opposite of contrasting, where it's contributing to the look of the thing. Suits you well. It complements you. It's got a lot of complementary architecture in a way, even though it's, you know, bit more straightforward. But look, you've got places like this. Can't say that Bath has no soul. Come on. It's a bit unfair on the people of Bath.
The energy was so low, and no matter how much I tried, it held me down. I've never had that. Like, get me out of this fucking place. Like a spell on it all. I could light by the cathedral when you do your little talk anyway, okay?
Yeah, I have a gate right.
Get back soon. Go top my battery up.
So the battery ran out. So we're just being introduced to the, what have I called today's stream? The disturbing world of Martin Liedtke. The disturbing world. The disturbing thing is the random conspiracy stuff. That's the disturbing thing. What I've been introduced to there is a person that I find quite amiable. I like his manner. I like the way he talks to people. I like the way he gives people time. I like the way he listens to them. I worry a little bit about his presenting as a kind of by having the, like in this video, like the dope is in the picture, in the thumbnail. You know, I worry about that method of presentation. I'm not saying you shouldn't just be yourself. I'm saying if you want to work in the field of media and present ideas and be taken credibly, I worry about that aspect of the presentation. There is another video I wanted to watch. I've gone by most popular there, and this is our problem with this. Look, these most popular ones, that's 2.5 hours, that's an hour and a half, that's 2.5 hours, that's 3 hours, and they're talking about flat Earth, so there's no point in even going there. I'm not going to debunk flat Earth. I don't need to. Go and set up a pendulum in your back garden and watch it move of its own accord as the Earth rotates around its axis, just slightly off the axis. Where's the video I wanted to watch? My God, look, there's so many of them. Where's the one I wanted to watch? Why you do this to me? I had it earlier, ready, lined up. There it is. Flat Earth British at Sweet Fanny Adams. This time not giving a flying fuck. It says, NASA discovers new planet covered in marijuana. I just wanted to have a look at that.
It's all about our safety.
Alright, and it's these two. So let's get into a bit of this. We'll have a bit of this. Right, this is where the disturbing... So we've been introduced to the character. He seems kind of amiable, right? Let's have a little look further. This is just a random, you know, one of his videos, one of his earlier videos, and it caught my attention because of the concept.
British. Mileage, I can't even fucking see that. So I'm with a Red Indian. And we'll get your new people catch up. Basically, we just done live stream, but I had a problem for it to go live for some fucking weird reason. So I've come over here on my phone. So I'll give you all a chance to catch up. Okay. In the meantime.
Hey.
Okay.
So, again, like, I'm not dissing the smoking of the week. You know, like, we're using our computers, we're chilling, we're smoking weed, yeah, but like we're getting well stoned here, like these two. Obviously, it's not that, you know, they're just not just lit up. They're getting well stoned, sat in front of the phone, and churning out the nonsense. It's similar. It reminds me of some of the true crime and, you know, podcast war podcasters on YouTube who basically they sit in front of the camera and then they chat a load of chuff about other people and get people all wound up and have a nice fat smoke and chat a load of chuff. Or of Time Booth. It reminds me of Time Booth, who sits in front of the camera with a reefer and chats a load of chuff about boxing. But they've got a slightly different look.
Flat British, come here, Mercy. Come and say hiya. Shout out to the Flat British folks.
See where?
Oh, she can't see you.
That's Mercy. She's my dog.
Yeah, I know.
She's my dog. She's a 6-year-old Rhodesian Ridgeback cross with American Bull Staff. The staff's getting everywhere these days. They're like fucking CPSOs.
Let me have a look if I'm on my channel at a minute more. I can't see no fucker here.
Whatever it it is.
We need gravity's a real thing, actually. No, it's in the Urban
Gravity.
Dictionary. Yeah, gravity. No, isn't it not true?
I heard that somewhere.
Alright, we're letting you all pile in, guys, and then the party starts, okay? Because I've had moans last night because we went off early. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh no, there's a bomber. Oh no, it's a terrorist. Oh, it's a 7-7 rip.
To humanity, you know.
If they only listen.
If they would only listen, that would be a great help.
Just one moment.
Melly's going to fetch, right, evidence of what is going on to them injections you put in your fucking children. Fuck them! Mel?
Yeah, it's not a good thing, really.
It ain't a good thing, guys. Check this out.
It's kind of...
I'm going to touch one of the subjects.
It's kind of an ironic thing.
There we go. There's no vaccine thing he just mentioned there. Oh God, I can't even get into this if it's that. But you can see the. So there's no NASA. I've come here because you put a thumbnail about a planet that NASA found that was covered in marijuana, and I thought that sounds like a fun conspiracy theory to talk about. And what have I got? Oh, NASA. What have I got?
So,
what have they?
That was a bit of a long intro. This is basically, this is something I've had for probably 20 years, and it's something that I've given other people, girls that are getting pressure, because they do call in the social services. They like to mess with your private life and insist that your child be vaccinated because it prevents, the spread of illness against all the other children. It's, it's all about the herd. It's about vaccinating a herd. This is what we are, yeah? Get it in your heads, yeah? We are a herd, and they need to keep us healthy so we can keep working and keep their lives really nice, and we all get fucked up, basically. So,
you see where we're at? Even if you've got a message, that's like way off, you could still present it in such a way that people might take you seriously. If you want to hire me, you can't because you're a chuffer. I'll put you in the same category as Coca-Cola. But if you want to hire me, you can present it in such a way that people... But the way this is going, I mean... What surprises me the most is that it doesn't, like... Someone might sit down and they might say, you know what, I'm not into the mainstream. I can see that there's a... Like I said earlier, I can see that there's a... an angle. If you can't see the angles, you're in trouble. I can see someone screwing me. I can see they're screwing me. Are they screwing me by giving me a vaccination that keeps me healthy? Or are they screwing me by making me work for £7 an hour minimum wage? They're getting on the wrong end of the stick. They're getting the wrong end of the stick. What she's talking about here is not even COVID vaccinations, but just general measles, mumps, rubella, whooping cough, diphtheria, polio, all these things that used to kill children. We've had that debate recently when we talked about the vaccines for COVID. We talked about the efficacy of historical vaccines and why we get them. I'm not going to go into that really because we know it's silly. But she already seems like a really worrisome... Like, if you had to drop your children off for childminding, yeah? You might not believe in vaccines. You might not believe in the COVID vaccine, whatever. But you do love your children, don't you? Would you like to drop them off with this lady with the headdress and the reefer and the out of focus and the 20-minute video and the Rhodesian Ridgeback cross with a bulldog? Does she seem like a safe pair of hands to you? Does she seem like she's got all her thoughts in order, all her ideas straight? She knows the strategy and the technique. And even if you think vaccines aren't right, is this the person who should be leading your movement, your education? Is this the person who represents you the best? Do you admire her? Is she a role model to you? That should be like the ideas. Let's not even unpack the ideas yet. And it's not an ad hominem attack. An ad hominem attack is when you... I want to get this straight as well, because I feel like I'm being mean to people. Ad hominem. Attacking the person. This fallacy occurs when instead of addressing someone's argument or position, you irrelevantly attack the person or some aspect of the person who's making the argument. So I feel like I'm doing an ad hominem attack, and I'm not here to bully people or troll people. But my point is, we're talking about ideas, and we're talking about the representation of ideas, the sharing of ideas, the education of children, the education of our peers. Of our peers, yeah? So as a media producer, or just a content consumer, because you're a sophisticated content consumer, you don't just switch on an advert and think, oh great, they've got a good camera, I'll buy that stuff. You know, you're sophisticated. So you can see through that, and you don't need a good camera to present good ideas. But it's those extra bits, isn't it? It's the headdress, the reefer, the dog, the doing this, the sort of, like, she seems ignorant of how she's being perceived. She can't even, they didn't, like, holding that thing up, you can't even read it. Unaware. They're unaware of part of this media dance. I don't know. That's a worry to me. So it's not an ad hominem attack. It's a point, like a red flag for me, when I'm saying, should I believe, investigate, give credence to the ideas of, to the thoughts that come from this mind, from this thinker? Because the other thoughts that come from, they're presented. Do you know piercings, right? Piercings is another interesting thing that I need to talk about at this juncture. It's a bit random, but there are a lot of people that I wouldn't like trust watching children. Yeah. I don't know if I'll find this information on the internet now, but piercings are defense mechanism psychology. I'm not going to go digging deep into the psychology, but I used to have a piercing in my lip. I used to have a piercing in my eyebrow. I had a spike in my lip. I used to, dress the part a lot more for this alternative lifestyle. I had the Mohican. I was a punk. I was a goth. I used to dress the part. Yeah? And like I was talking at the very start of this broadcast, and when I realised, my pair of Doc Martens are just as much of a fashion choice and a consumer-led fashion choice as my Adidas trainers, I stopped giving as much of a monkeys about presenting and dressing the part of alternative. I just became more... Like, you see me, I don't... Like, look at how I'm dressed now. I don't care. I like it, I'll wear it. Okay? I'm not trying to fight some political point by wearing it anymore. And I don't have to wear a uniform to prove to you who I am. I don't have to wear any sort of uniform to prove to you who I am. Someone talked to me in depth about the psychology of piercings. And through talking to them, I realised, they were suggesting these ideas, but I looked into it and thought it was a really good point, that the piercings were some part of social identification, defence mechanism, grouping. There was a lot of psychology behind my choice to have a spike in my lip. It was preventing me from getting certain jobs. It made people's opinions of me, instant first impressions, a certain way. Whatever. I've decided to discard the outward symbols of a personality. I've decided to discard the uniform of a group or the armour of aggression in favour of an actual personality and just choices based on what I think looks nice aesthetically, but without trying to be too offensive. I'm not going to wear a fuck the system t-shirt anymore. I'm not. I want people to listen to me. I want people to like me. I don't want to look at me and think, oh God, here we go. I'm come to kick your door in again. I'm not on that tip. I'm not aggressive in my aesthetic. Okay? So I don't wear piercings. I don't wear piercings. I like dressing up and having fun. We did a Fortnite thing the other day and I dressed up as a Fortnite man, remember? That was a while ago now, but I'm just making a general point about why I don't wear piercings, yeah? Just making that. And also, so this is not an ad hominem attack on this person for the way they're dressed. It's about... I think I've made the point clearly enough, haven't I? It's about wanting to present ideas and be taken seriously. And it's about me being able to judge someone if they are a bit of a mess. Would you trust this person to make your dinner? You got to eat that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not a... I'm a bit... Because of these other indications. They're indications, aren't they? They're indications of a cluttered mind. Of a confusion. I have the same... I'm singing from the same page. Remember? Gravekipper, funny coat, confused. Have I turned this on? Have I turned that off? Smoking a bit of weed, whatever. You know, I'm coming from the same place. So I know where we're at. But I'm also not leading the social charge against the New World Order. If I were, I believe, you know, some more seriousness would be required. Some more seriousness would be required, because I think it was important. Things that I find important, I take seriously. That's another critical point. You know, when I'm messing about having fun all the time, it doesn't matter if I'm working in the call centre. I'm messing about having fun. That's not important to me in the call centre. I'm messing about and having fun. Got the sack. Working in the supermarket, I'm messing about having fun. Got the sack. Running my own hairdresser, I'm messing about having fun. It went well. Here, I'm messing about having fun. It's going well. Once there was a girl in the street. She was so drunk, she was staggering about. Suddenly the fun had to stop. It's not time for laughs. I have to be serious on this one. I need to be taken seriously. She needs to get in a taxi. We need to know where her parents are. And, you know, like someone's cut their finger. I need to stop messing about and I need to take care of you with your cut finger. I'll find the first aid kit. You sit there. I switched on. Underneath this facade of just not taking it seriously, being a bit scruffy, actually there's a there's a team captain, there's a soldier, there's someone who can snap into action. I don't drink. So I can example that by showing you the times when I need to be on and I need to do something properly that I can actually, you know, produce. You know, I can prove that. Not with this advert.
Who are these people whispering to each other? Why is that woman tapping on that box? Why is he rubbing a paintbrush over a white canvas? You know, what are these people into?
ASMR is a lovely, relaxing feeling that you get often in the top of your head.
It's completely mysterious. I don't think anyone's going to be able to get a hold on it for years and years.
So if you want to watch my little ASMR road trip documentary, you can. It's on YouTube. So you can leave your kids with me. Do you know what I mean? Like when we have a wedding or an event, I have a shave and I look smart and I'm, you know, I'm up there. It's been a few years since I ran my own hairdressing shop. I've let my beard grow. We've had a COVID. I'm wearing a cap and that. I'm not like... It's not about me and them. It's not about me and them. It's about a conversation about presenting ideas and appearing valid, I guess. And I don't want to make it an ad hominem attack, but I worry about these people now because I've just watched this.
So, with this in mind, I'll just read you a few of the ingredients. This is something that you basically, if you're under pressure and you really need some help, you can always get in touch with Martin or myself, either way, and we can send you a copy of this. We can do it over the phone or something like that. So anyway, it's basically saying to the physician that is they are saying to you that you need to get your kid vaccinated. And it's a disclaimer to the doctors. It's not anything else. It's basically saying to the doctors, if you're saying this shit is safe and it's good for my kid, then you need to sign this. Wow. Yeah, so you take it to the doctor. It's a notice, which obviously they're not going to sign. And they're going to call security and have you thrown out of the place.
Like that letter you got saying...
Yeah. Your battery power is extremely low, by the way.
Fuck me.
So she's been thrown out of the doctors for kicking up a fuss, making them trying to sign these papers. That obviously you're going to take some sort of papers to your doctor and ask them to sign it. And it's very unlikely your doctor's going to sign compiled document like that, isn't it? It doesn't matter what it's about. It could be about chuffing clouds up in the sky. I'm not signing that. I'm a doctor. I'm here to deal with you and your obvious signs of mental illness. And I'm not even joking. You know, obviously we do Mental Health Monday. It's on tonight, 8 p.m. GMT, Mental Health Monday. So, you know, so maybe I shouldn't be joking about mental health. But honestly, I'm concerned. That's the word. I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned about these people. I certainly wouldn't, if I were a parent, I certainly wouldn't say, oh, do you know what? Let's take her ideas on board and let's accept her legal counsel when it comes to the good health of my child. Let's take this lady. I'm printing that out. Send it to me. Do you know who's doing that?
Yeah, don't worry about it. So anyway, aluminium hydroxide, aluminium phosphate, aluminium sulfate, amphotericin, whatever the fuck that is, B.
So you don't even know what these things are that she's talking about.
Animal tissues, pig blood, horse blood, rabbit brain, dog kidney, monkey kidney. Ooh, yeah, you need a bit of monkey kidney.
Oh God, yeah, you need monkey kidney.
I'm quite sure there's no monkey kidney in the vaccinations that I had, but you know, we could look into it.
Chick embryo.
She took chick embryos. During the process of creating vaccines, they used to take eggs and breed the virus in the egg, in the, you know, the unborn egg, and then take it out that way. Like, eggs have been used, I'm sure, so maybe it's that she's confused with. I just want to ask, you know, maybe I'm asking the wrong people here, the internet, but you know, maybe I'm asking the wrong people, but is there monkey kidney in vaccines? I mean, oh, okay, this is where they're confused, obviously, because monkey kidney cell inactivated. Yeah, okay. Let's have a little look. I mean, it states monkey kidney cell. I don't know if this is the vaccine I had for polio. You know, I don't know how many different vaccines are available, to be honest. This one's been authorised, though. Like, I can't get off the top of my head. No, I'm thinking. My guess is, okay, I'll just state what I guess. My guess is that they used the monkey kidney cell to breed the virus that they're going to use to vaccinate you with. I'm not sure they're going to be injecting the actual monkey kidney cells into you necessarily. Like it says here, it's a suitable system for the primary isolation and cultivation. For influenza viruses. Because embryonated chicken eggs will likely be insufficient and suboptimal, we're switching to green monkey kidney cells. It's a suitable system for the primary isolation and cultivation of influenza viruses. We now demonstrate for the first time that vero cells are suitable for isolation. Vero in vitro. In vitro is something in you. Vero is something that's removed. So, like, this is a cell that's outside of the body of the monkey. And then they use that to determine the biological and genetic properties of the influenza viruses in the cells. So they're obviously using this as like a base to grow the viruses on for that. I don't know if that means that... That is probably what's throwing them there, isn't it? Polio vaccine inactivated, open brackets, monkey kidney cell, close brackets, FDA. That probably sounds quite bad, but I don't know if that means they're injecting monkey kidney cells into you. Here we are, the strange history of vaccines and why people fear them. I think that probably means is what that means. Monkey kidney cell is like the methodology of creating the vaccine has been monkey kidney cell. It's like the way we say mRNA vaccine. You know, the methodology of creating it was by using that, or do you know what I mean? And now I'm trying to read through this entire. This is what I don't want to do. I don't want to end up trying to debunk someone on some random stuff by having to do some big deep dive to find out something that in the end just proves what's common sense anyway. A 1 pint sized lab bottle of these cells will produce around 20 million metric tons of cells. As a result, the supply is almost infinite and the cell line is still being used. It's important to note, though, there are many vaccines, including vaccines that predate the ones described, which don't rely on these cells. I don't know if they're monkey cells. I don't know. They were fetal cells. And they're using it to create a clean micro-vaccine factory. So they're not actually injecting with the cells, they're using the cells to create the vaccines. To grow the vaccines on. There's so much here, isn't there? Look. But it's in there somewhere about these monkeys. Whatever, do you know what? Do you know what I think about that, though? Where's my big face? I'm a vegan, yeah, so I don't want any animals to be damaged in pursuit of human happiness. Not even in a medical sense. Honestly, not even in a medical sense. I think we've got like rapists and pedos that we could stick needles in quicker than we should have to put beagles through the damn harm. Anyway, I think it should be an opt-in, opt-out system in prison if you've done certain crimes that, you know, you're guilty of. I think you should opt in. You know, if you want a television in your cell, you should have to have the chuffing medical experiments. Anyway, that's me and my little suggestion. Obviously, it's just a joke, isn't it? Obviously, we can't be forcing people to. Anyway, look. My point is, though, I don't like the idea of the animals. I had these vaccines when I was a kid. If you said to me, right, the options are polio, it makes you crippled. It means you lose your legs. You'd probably die. You have real bad time. Loads of kids all over the world. Like there was the ills of polio. Do you want that around the world? Or we've got this vaccine. We've used a monkey kidney to create the vaccine. Yeah, you can take it. It's perfectly safe. We're doctors and chemists and biologists, and we've tested and trialed it and done it in the animals. Yeah. The science is safe. I actually trust them. Do you know why? Because they're experts in their field, and they want us to be. They're not doing it to try and switch off my sperm cells or make me a good consumer. They're doing it because people are dying of polio. I actually trust the medical. It's weird that you should see this information. You think, I'd rather not trust the doctors. It's not just one or two. There's a whole field of medicine. There's universities, multiple universities all around the world, studying all different facets of it. People are expert in different fields. There are multiple experts in the same field. They even take a damn oath. It seems weird that you would think, if you cut your finger, you put the plaster on. If you break your ankle, this woman, if she broke her leg, she'd be first down the A&E for a plaster cast. She'd be the first person to have the doctor looking at it. Maybe she wouldn't. Maybe she'd rather have a broken leg hanging off. Other aspects of things that she can't understand as easily, suddenly, because she can't understand it, it's all twisted lies. The only way she can make a head or tail of it is by making up her own fantasy. She didn't understand the words on the page, so she made up a fantasy that it's bad. She doesn't understand the biological mechanisms at play. She thinks monkey sounds bad. You see what we're dealing with here? That's my worry. It's not an ad hominem attack. It's a discussion about her, her perception of the world.
Chick egg, duck egg, calf, bovine serum, beta propiolactone,
nice.
Fetal bovine serum.
And she's made a list here.
Formaldehyde, formalin, gelatin.
She's made a list here. I don't know what this list is of. I don't know if it is the ingredients of any particular vaccine or all the things that have ever been mentioned to do with vaccines that are bad or what. She's just reading a list. What is it?
Glycerol. Wait for this one. You're going to really like this one.
This sucks.
This will really help your newborn beautiful baby. Human diploid cells, brackets, originating from human aborted fetal tissue. End of brackets.
Not good, is it?
Hydrolyzed gelatin. So I've informed a lot of my girlfriends who are Muslim that, hear what, you're putting dead pigs into the babies, so will you please stop that? Mercury, thimerosal.
Obviously, we're not injecting mercury and hydrolyzed gelatin into babies, are we? I think we're pretty... Angie works with babies in hospitals. I think she'd know if it was good or bad to inject babies with mercury and hydrolyzed. Like, it wouldn't just be like, oh, that's a bad thing in your vaccine, that's bad for you. It would literally kill you to inject into your bloodstream hydrolyzed gelatin or mercury. So there's no ifs or buts about this. Did you have that in your vaccine? No. How do I know? Because you're not fucking dead. So, glad we cleared that up.
Monosodium glutamate makes it taste so much better. Neosin sulfate. It's all about the sin. Phenol red.
I love it when they take a word and they break it down to mean something else.
Indicator. Phenyloxythol. Antifreeze. Oh, that's antifreeze. Just so they don't get cold. Potassium disphosphate. Potassium monophosphate.
Do you know what? Some of these things might actually be like, I just heard there, potassium monophosphate. I don't know what it is, but I wonder if it's just like a, because we need potassium. We eat potassium. It's bananas. Potassium monophosphate. What is that? What is potassium monophosphate? Oh, no, this doesn't sound good, does it? Potash. She's not talking about what like phosphates, like in the garden, like fertilizer phosphates. What? It's an inorganic compound. Together with it's used as a fertilizer, food additive, and a buffer agent. The salt co-crystallizes with potassium salt. Weird. So you possibly could even eat it. Like, potassium is part of your diet, isn't it? But potassium monophosphate, probably not. And it's certainly not injected into babies. Is it? It's just not. It's just not. It's not, is it? It's just not.
Polymyxin B. Polysorbate 20. Polysorbate 80. Porcine, that's pig. Pancreatic hydroslate of casein. Residual MRC5 proteins, don't know what they are.
I'd love it if she get to the end of the list so we could see what the list is about. I think at the end she's going to say what the list is, because she didn't say at the start.
So, do I need to go on?
No, man, it's pretty fucking bleak.
A continuous line of monkey kidney cells and wash sheep red blood.
Right. So that's what they put it in. So
this is what they want to put this into babies.
Oh.
And older people as well. So this is just something for the youngsters. When you get older, it might be a bit more
CBD.
Serious.
CBD. Let's talk about CBD.
No, let's not. Let's not confuse the issue all of a sudden with cannabis oil. Let's not do that. Let's definitely not. Because how can we've just had such an extraordinary claim made that I think it would be wrong to suddenly drop a different and completely, separate topic into the mix. It would be wrong. So that's just the average afternoon with Martin Liedtke. But that was one of his earlier videos. So let's have a look at the newest. Let's have a look. We're going to have a little look at something new, and which one did I actually watch? There was one I watched on one of these tours that I had a little look at, and it was pretty out there. I just had a little skip, and in the middle he made a really rash claim which I wanted to check. So that's the one I wanted to watch. But which one was it? Because they all look... See, the problem we've got here, right? The problem we've got with this channel... Recommended this channel so that I could have a look and, you know, maybe debunk some of the ideas. But look at how it works. 2 hours 40. 2 hours 40 of talk about flat Earth and all sorts of the saints and Flat Earth, Britain's Finest Adventures, the beautiful talk. That's an hour and a half video. This one's 40 minutes. I do long videos debunking 2 minutes of their content. So I can't watch an hour and a half. Can I? You know, I can't watch an hour and a half. How am I going to do that? Tell you what I want to do. I just want to, we'll go big face, quickly, where's my browser, browsing off. Just going to switch channels, switch account, and be, because I don't browse the internet as Ganji Kid, I browse the internet incognito as battery exhausted, so I don't know why, I just do. You know, I'm not interested in the social media aspect of YouTube, trying to gain more people's attention on my channel. I go with the channel that I don't watch. It was Holy Grail, Future of the Past Tour Torquay. Okay. And then we'll switch back to batteries, because I don't want... Now I'm browsing as Ganji Kid again, right? I don't want my suggested videos to be all this crap, do I? So it was Torquay. It was this one. So we're going to finish with one of the more recent videos.
Hi there. If you
Hi there. Shut up. This is a real doctor. He's a real doctor, Dr. Michael Mosley. He's on the telly in our country. He's selling shakes. Get off. Get off, Michael.
And the beautiful harbour behind us. So we're in the English Riviera on the South Devon coast. We're going history and mud flooding now.
Hi there.
Because this place is like a ley line centre, so we're doing the same healing as we go. Maybe Alexa's going to...
Do some prayer.
So already, right, we've done 19 seconds. We've got ley lines, mud floods, healing, and prayers. And not your normal prayers. Not, dear Jesus, I've been really good, please can I have some more chocolate pud? None of that. Like,
so we're going to...
Which might be a Gaelic or something, I don't know. Well, it is, I don't know. She didn't introduce it, she just said it.
We get a lot of that, so that's going to be fantastic. Melage, just ring.
Hey. Hello.
Melage, say hi to the Flat Earth British peeps.
Still got my pyjamas on?
Nice one, Mel.
Yeah,
Jason,
hardcore.
Flat Earth British peeps, flat thumbs.
Do you get the impression that they're a sort of like YouTube group? You know how you get the vegans were on YouTube all together, and you had the, you know, you get your little community group, you ASMR Reddit. Somebody should post my videos on Reddit on ASMR, because then they get more views, and I'm not allowed to because they will hate me. They've got their own crew, haven't they? And I get the impression that Martin is a bit of a big cheese within this group, and he's gaining some sort of social. Like, isn't this weird as a concept? Isn't this weird as a concept that you're antisocial at heart? Fuck the system. Fuck you people in your society. Remember what I said? I think we should ingratiate with... I used to be that. I used to be the punk who would, like, you know, chuff your McDonald's. Chuff your McDonald's. You know, I used to be the punk, yeah? But now I kind of, like, mellowed, I guess. And I think there are actually some good things in society. And I think the internet is showing us more and more that modern, forward-thinking, like-minded people who are, like, you know... the good people can actually get together and make a big change. It was harder before because the more bullies and the more aggressive and the more like whatever, like in a physical society, one-on-one, push you around on the streets, whatever, yeah. But on the internet and in these other ways, like, you know, we can be a bit more modern and forward-thinking. But just look at the attitude to racism and on Twitter, for example, or, you know, you get your idiots, you get your little groups and your little posses and whatever, and social media can create that as well, can't it? Bullying and all that. It's a big complex issue. But someone who's like anti-society and anti-society's ideas, I'm sure that Martin would accept he is anti-society. You know, fuck the system, yeah. But it's interesting that he's gaining some sort of social status from this grouping of antisocial people. Not antisocial, throw your litter around, be rude, but, you know, they created a subgroup that if you don't, and look at his beard, look at that man's beard, and look at my beard. Remember, we're in the same ballpark in a way. If I want to be, And I could have a shave and put on a suit if I want. We can do what we want. By dressing in this way, by rejecting the norms of society, by not taking their values as your values, you're forced into an out group. You can't be in the in group and the out group, can you? You know, you can't be in the smart suit buying the posh telly and the, you know, having the monkey injections at the same time as you can't be shopping with the sheep at the supermarket and also in the hippie shop with your lentil. Like, do you know what I mean? You create your separate subgroup, don't you? You isolate yourself in a way from the mainstream society. That's what I'm trying to say. So in that isolation, you lose, not because you're rejecting society's value system. You're saying, I don't care about what you think is good. Therefore, me not having a good job doesn't matter because I don't grade myself on the system that you do. I've got this problem in my life. You know, I've went to a good school, got an education. I'm not working in a 100 grand a year job because I don't want to work for somebody. I've never been able to fit the system. I've got the mental capacity to do things. We put a film together that went on Netflix. I can't work in the office doing the thing. I didn't go on that film set and make the behind the scenes content and get told what to do and keep my mouth shut. Like, there's something wrong with me. Yeah, I'm happy to say it, whatever. I don't fit the system. So I don't value, but also I don't value, maybe it's part of my internalization of these values that I've never internalized earning 100 grand a year as being the thing that I would want to achieve. There was a different set of values that meant a lot to me when I was a kid. Kindness, compassion, sharing, helping people, trying to excel in order that we might better the world for the next generation. Like that, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's reasons and whys. I'm happier not in the office but I would actually be happy with 100 grand. Let's not get me wrong. I feel like I have value. I went through a phase of feeling like I didn't have value. And a lot of it was because society had set a list of values and I didn't fit those listed values. And yet it turned out that I really did have value, and the value I had, you couldn't qualify or quantify on that list. And that what I had was more valuable. We made a video the other day, do you remember, on Mental Health Monday? We made a video for somebody who'd been through a breakup and they said that it meant something to them. You know, if I was working in the 100 grand job doing the society values, maybe I don't do that. Maybe I make the video about eating a 10 grand house, or, you know, having a gold hat, or driving a Ferrari into a wall or whatever. You know, maybe I do something different and I'm more successful by society's metrics. But I'm happy with what we did. You know, I see the value now. I understand the value. So it's about values, right? Bringing it back to this, I'm not judging these people as having less value. But what I am saying is that Martin now has not got a system of social outside pointing at him saying, you are doing well. In fact, the outside system who sees him, the system, the mainstream, the system, they probably, think on their system and scale, he's not doing that well. But within this strange subgroup of, should I say, rejects society, they've rejected society, society's rejected them, whichever way you want to look at it, this subsect of reject have created their own social status, haven't they? Those two on that, that video we just watched a minute ago, they were telling people, they had the list there. He's got his phone out, he's filming these others, and they're, get on my live stream, check me out. Have you seen me? I'm filming myself. Have you seen me? I'm filming myself. I've got 48,000 subscribers. That means something to some people. That can then give you a social status and a value, a self-worth, and something you can leverage with these people to create a social status. And it's all on the same premise of the society that you reject. The subscribers, the YouTube, the videoing, the being a someone, the ego, the id. It's interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting. Because I think if you're on that, alternative hippie side, you also get introduced to some of that cultural difference. Like, society that we have, Western society that runs on consumer capitalism, is predicated on the idea that you as an individual are what's important, and that your choices, your personal preferences are more important than the preferences of the group or the health of the group or whatever. You know, it's you, it's me, it's mine, I'll fight for my thing and I'll get mine, you know, the American dream. I'll work hard and I'll get paid and it'll be for me, and I'll, you know, work and get what's mine and get that paper. And then I'll buy things that I want. And I'll be individual, because the things I buy will be a collage of who I am. You know, this is the whole system. I'm individual. I'm on my social media with my face, and I'm an individual. And we're all different. We're all unique. But of course, we're all the same, aren't we? We're all humans. We're all the same. We all share everything. We're all the same. We share everything, don't we? You breathe the air, I breathe the air. You swim in the sea, I swim in your shit. Right? We all share everything, don't we? So, like the hippie side of things, and I'm not being derogatory, you know, I'm saying alternative hippie, whatever. You learn, because you go against the mainstream, you start learning these other ideas that actually might not be about the individual. Maybe Margaret Thatcher and the Reagan years and, you know, the consumer capitalist fight against socialism really instilled these values in consumer capitalism, and therefore they were reflected in the media, not just the news media, but the you know, look at 80s films, Greed is Good, Wall Street. You know, these things are reflected in the media and then reflected back to the people who internalize those values and then live them out. And if you look at the world slightly differently, you might discover Oriental mysticism, Buddhism, you might discover Marxism, for Christ's sake, which they don't like to talk a lot about, because in America it's like the devil, you know, Marx and socialism, and it isn't all good. And you learn, like, you know, a collage of these ideas. You go traveling in India or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you get a different set of ideas that you're introduced to. So one of those ideas, one of those concepts, is about this consciousness, this collective consciousness. That's a Jungian idea. I mentioned earlier about Freud and the id. I didn't say it was Freudian, but it's Freudian. You know, if you can learn the psychology and the philosophy behind these ideas in our Western understanding and in the collage of other ideas, you really start to get, and lo and behold, it turns out you stop feeling like such an individual, like such an important me I am, and it becomes more a being part of the wave, because I'm not here forever and I'm part of the tapestry, and that's about it. You know, the individual, the personal, the you're a collage of dog treats and toys, but you know, that's interesting. All those ideas, I've floated those, just like them, where they throw ideas up. I've floated up a load of ideas to create a context. And it's interesting to me that within that world, I would say, you know, it feels a bit like a spectrum. You've got your capitalist, and then you've got your anti-capitalist, fuck the system, you know, vegans, whatever. We are a bit more social, aren't we? A bit more socialist, a bit more sharing, a little less egocentric. But it feels to me like there's some sort of egoism at play in this content.
Hey. And there's Jade, future of the past.
Yeah, right.
But I also like the fact that he represents everyone else and, you know, gets everyone on the camera a bit. I think that's quite egalitarian as well. So, you know, I kind of see some part of him that I like as well.
Organiser of this tour. This is her part, were you? Stop it. And my Brian's just gone. Sarah. Rachel. And Sarah.
I'm Sarah.
Yeah. You don't look alike, I'm just saying. So good morning, little wing.
I wonder if he feels a bit like a rock star amongst these people.
Fiona and James. James, my brother, and James as well. So we're going on a history tour. I'm going to crank up some music, but I can't Bluetooth at the same time as going live, you see. So are we onward?
Yep. Yes. Pipe.
Okay.
Oh shit, he's leading the tour. I thought that he was going to join a tour because, you know, he wanted to find out some stuff. He's leading the tour.
I'm Piper and everybody.
So I wonder if you get, I hope there's no financial, I hope they're not paying to be on the tour. I imagine this is just it's got to be just absolute, I mean, there's no way there's a financial benefit to promoting these theories, is there?
Good morning. So yeah, have a look at this.
but there certainly is some kind of social benefit. Oh look, there's an advert. We're getting an advert, so there is a financial benefit. There is a financial benefit to promoting these ideas. They've got more views than me, got more subs than me. So, if I, oh yeah, I see. You're a collage of the things that you buy. Yeah. Do you know? Here's my big face. I'm not hopefully going to offend anyone here, but I'm going to say some things and they're just going to get said. So this is how it goes. I've got a dog, obviously. I love my dog. It's really difficult being vegan and wanting to feed the dog its natural diet. I've done a video about pets, veganism. It's on Battery Exhausted. I'm not going to dig into that now. I'm not throwing too many ideas at you. But I wanted to say, once upon a time, we were at this lovely festival, this plum fair, and we went and there were little market stalls and there was a lady and a fella, young couple, and they'd got a own home cottage business that they'd obviously spent some... I know about business. I've run a business. I know how much it costs to do your marketing. I know how much it costs to print up your flyers. I know how much it costs to get all your bags with your little printed names on. I know about the outlay. Yeah, I know how much it costs to run a fucking market stall at the plum fair. So I know how much money they put in. And what are they selling? Dog biscuits. Dog biscuits. Not, we've just printed up a few paper bags and, we're selling dog biscuits. But like luxury, they put all this money into the marketing, the look, the branding, that's the word, the branding. But the actual product is kind of rubbish, isn't it? Because your dog doesn't have luxury super dog. Like, it's made of... I'm not going to eat them. They're dog biscuits. Yeah, they're not actually... What they're trying to do is take an item that they don't have to spend a lot of money on, a product they don't have to spend a lot of money on, and dress it up so we can charge more. Of course, this one's got blueberries in it. This one's got fresh chicken, and this one... But they're dog biscuits, so they're not pure raw fresh chicken. They're like, reduced... Do you know what I'm saying? If they were human biscuits, you'd have to adhere to a certain standard. You'd have to get if I was making human biscuits from home, I'd have to get a quality control check on my kitchen to say it had a food hygiene safety certificate. I'd have to pay for that. I know about business. So to get around that, you sell them to dogs. You don't have to have a quality control. They could be 40% ash, whatever. So you don't even have to write on the the bag what's in the biscuit. You just tell people. It's all about selling people your posh dog biscuit. If you can sell them the posh dog biscuit, you've won. You've made a sale. You've got a great big markup on that, but you need a big markup because you want to buy a big house, you want to drive a Ferrari, and you need to pay for the outlay of these bags and the blueberries we bought and the market stall and our lovely hat and the branding. You need to pay for all that. A lot of these businesses go bust because it turns out there isn't the market for their product that they believed there was. They didn't do the market research. They didn't... I'll just say that. They didn't do the market research. They didn't build up from small enough, humble roots, discover what's selling and what's not. A bit like the way we work YouTube. They didn't do that. They just... sat at home in their posh house because they, are posh people. They've got enough money. They're doing a nice job, and they got. I think my dog likes my biscuits that I cook better than the biscuits we buy at the supermarket. I think they like my... We could start a business doing dog biscuits. Oh, I'd have a lovely bag and I'd have a lovely thing. And And it turns out that people don't give a shit overall because they need to save money on dog biscuits. They just buy the chuffing ones from the supermarket when they're at the supermarket. They're not going to be on the internet. Maybe you'll get a few high-end clients. Maybe there are people out there that spoil their pets to this end, but maybe they even them just buy the higher end stuff from the supermarket. Your market for who's going to shell out for posh dog biscuits on the regular is got to be quite narrow. I don't know how their business went on, right? But they offered my dog the biscuit and the dog didn't even want to eat it. The dog didn't even want to eat the biscuit. So these people, you watch it on Dragon's Den, don't you? You see it on the Shark Tank. They have these good ideas and good intentions, but they're not in the real world. So they waste a lot of money on a stupid idea that was never going to work in the first place. Trying to blag you. Do you know what? It's about your doggy and the doggy biscuits. So what if I am what I buy? I mean, I bought some nice... Don't get me wrong, right? I've been into shops that I know are overpriced. I'm buying a dog biscuit or a dog treat, and I'm buying it for it's turned out to be like £5 or £6, and I'm like, this is a bit expensive, but I see you've got overheads. I'm just going to fit the battery change. I know this is a bit expensive, but I see you've got overheads, so you know, I soak up the cost. I soak up the cost, but that was an example of one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is just buying the, you know, the basic dog food that every other person in the normal real world buys from the supermarket. I'm a vegan. I don't want to be part of the economy of shame. Let me just focus in my hand. I'm a vegan. I don't want to be part of the economy of shame. I don't want to go to the supermarket. If I can source dog food from a, you know, vegan supplier, maybe that would be better. I should look into it more. I had looked into it in the past. I couldn't afford it. But, you know, do you know what I'm saying? So for me, dog food is not a lifestyle choice. It's more a, you know, just an educated and economic decision about what's best for the dog in terms of nutrition and what's best on my wallet. Yeah, that's the system. That's the system. So if you are the sort of person though that has that extra money and decides that, oh, you know what, it's part of my personality to feed my dog the blueberry biscuits. I'm the sort of person that doesn't just go like the mainstream. I'm not just like a normal person. I've got like you know, my dog has this suit, like if it's dressed a certain way to match your clothes, or if it's, you know, it might be a bit of fun, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this then becomes, I'm not dissing, you know, I understand your joke about being a collage of dog treats and toys, but that is kind of what I have become as well in ways. Do you know what I mean? I've got his favourite toys for him. I've become a consumer. They've got me then. I'm on Amazon or wherever it is. I'm in the dog food shop or the pets at home shop, or whatever it's called. And I'm making impulse buys based on their attraction to my... I remember once we bought him a collar that was like tartan. He never wears it. I never put it on him. He's got a dress collar, essentially. Because I looked... Oh, that goes with my coat. It goes with my coat, and I'm like stylish. I bought him a dress collar. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just consuming crap because marketing and stuff. And it's all tied into my identity of who I am, who he is. It's just dog food. It's not your identity. So we become these choices we make are part of that. That's what I'm saying. And I'm taking it back to what... I'm trying to get back to this. I'll do your comments and I'll get back to what he's saying. But my point there was that this whole thing here maybe is seeping into his identity, and if he's making money off the YouTube, and if he's leading the tours, and if, I don't know, he's selling some sort of merchandise based on it, then it's become the exact system that he wants to not be part of, and he's treating people in exactly the same way as the marketing people treat him. He's just marketing a really weird idea that doesn't get a lot of airtime, and maybe that's why he gets all the views, because there's not so many people sharing this specific brand of media. And maybe, you know, whatever reasons he's, you know, it's a brand now we're saying brand, I don't know, maybe it's an anti-brand, I don't know. They pay £20 to join the tour. Oh my god, I have to be careful because I'm on the internet, but I wanted to say some rude words then. There you go. So nothing, either you have to sort of disregard the validity of the things he says, because the more things he can go and point out, the more money he can make. I'd say not disregard, question is a better way of saying that. I would say question. But Jesus, they're paying money to go on the chuffing tour. So he is the system. He is the system. He was in Newcastle. You would have gone along to witness, but it had to be somewhere else. Newcastle, lovely Newcastle. I did my Newcastle accent the other day. We'll touch on that before we finish, shall we? I hope my microphone's not hissing and popping. I need to keep checking that. He was in Newcastle. You would have gone along to witness. I'd like doing all the different accents. I hope it's not offensive to people though when I do them, because I do it in, you know, with love. You know, with love. I like all these different people. But I did the other day. The dog doesn't care about the rapper. Exactly, the dog doesn't care, but nor do I really. I care about different things from the rapper. But they use the rappers because they want to get at me. And that's the problem, is that when I start paying attention to that, I lose myself in it so easily. He did York as well. He claimed the mist was mud flooded. I watched the very shallow foundations being underpinned. I love it. David's actually worked in construction works where he's literally dug into the mud flood and revealed its fallacy. Gravekeeper Dungeon Tour, £50 a head, you see. This is like that ghost tour, isn't it? It's like a modern ghost tour, isn't it? Yeah, you've nailed the thing there. It's like a modern ghost tour. There was like a big wave of, like when I was younger, there was a big wave of supernatural phenomena. I think this is true, actually, isn't it? It was almost like a trend, a ghost trend, a ghost tours, ghost films, ghost tours, ghost films. And post-Matrix, we've had this anti-society, blue pill, red pill context instead. And it's spawned, or born, I think spawn's a better word. It spawned the sort of new age, anti-societal, truther tour. So forget your ghost tours. No one believes in ghosts anymore. That was so 90s. Now we're into this. So we've got a tour. I wonder if David ever did a ghost tour. Not David, sorry. You're David. You're David. Now I'm confusing those. I wonder if Martin ever has conducted a ghost tour in his day. He's published a Flat Earth book. Well, there you go, the chuffer. I know Mudflood book. He's heading a conference. I'm going to go to the conference. I should go to the conference. Do you think they would... This is a problem to me, though, yeah? Like, I'm going to show you this again, because I'm bigging myself up. But I am a media producer. You know, in my day off, on my day off, when I used to push myself before the COVID, I was a media producer. Here's a little example of the last film I produced. Here's a little example of a bit of the last film I produced. Oh no, that's the Nintendo Switch. Ah, this is loud.
We wanted to talk about slavery in Brazil. The legend of Dandara, as far as most people believe, is that she was like a queen in Africa and she was brought to Brazil to be a slave.
She's a really gracious character. The way she moves and the way she enters the doors, those movements, they sort of look like zero gravity gymnastics. Sometimes she moves so fast when you're jumping around and zigzagging your way through the map. That's the part of what I like to animate. She's a black woman and she has this black power hair, but she's also barefoot. I think it means like she's a humble kind of hero.
Back when I was a kid, I was playing Street Fighter. It was like, man, I want to make Street Fighter and launch games on Super Nintendo. Yeah. That's what I'm here for, and it's finally happening. I mean,
Brazil.
So Stugan is this experimental game development camp in the forests of Sweden where people come together from all over the world to work on the game for 2 months.
Stugan is like a great experience.
Yes.
Yeah, you can eat the paper here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So I made this indie film about indie developers in the forests of Sweden on this game development camp. That's a little trailer for one of the teams. So I'm a media producer, yeah? We went to the Brighton Veg Fest. Look.
It's your choice, it's a compassionate choice, and
We saw Annika, the little green angel, at the Sea Shepherd stand.
I chose to become vegan for a combination of ethical and health reasons. I've been a vegetarian since I was very, very young. but took the change to veganism about a year ago when I decided that eggs and milk were just as cruel as eating meat. My YouTube channel.
So I wonder if, like, you know, because I can go to the Brighton Veg Fest as a media producer with a media pass, right? I could be given that legitimate media pass by the event organisers and produce a video like this. I didn't put any of my, I mean, obviously my feelings are in here because I am vegan, but I let these people talk, and some of them say things that I'm not actually 100%, you know, it's not my ideas, it's their ideas, basically. It's the things they wanted to say about their businesses and charities and event, yeah? So I put that together. I could do that. I could quite happily do that at whatever that is. I could quite happily do that, but would they give me the media pass? I don't want to give them any money because obviously I don't pay into things that I don't agree with, so I don't want to give them any money. And also, I don't know if I want to give them the airtime. I'm already giving them the airtime here, but I'm using a format where I think it's quite clear that we're not promoting their ideas. But just to make the video, the other person that I really admire that does this in this context that I could show you would be Channel 5. Where is he? With Andrew Callaghan. That's the Channel 5 with Andrew Callaghan. So Andrew Callaghan, I've definitely considered doing this recently with all these strange ideas going around the world, but of course we've had a COVID, so I didn't want to go and, you know, and do this because I didn't want to catch COVID and give it to my mom or anything. So I haven't done this, but...
You vaccinated? You know what I have to say to that? Fuck you! I am absolutely disgusted with what's going on here in Los Angeles. We need to take these guys out. They are all indoctrinated with this Chinese, communist, fascist narrative. And you know what? We're not going to have it.
Absolutely not. Fuck that.
We need to kill their cash flow.
So Andrew is a very personable chap, and he doesn't go out there and argue with these people. He just goes like, you know, allowing them to have their say, and he kind of, it's a bit Ali G in a way, it's a bit Sacha Baron Cohen, and, you know, he lets them have their say, and then he makes a little comment, and he's letting them make a fool of himself, essentially, but being good-natured in the process.
Hey, can you describe what this flag is? And
exactly. What this is a four-banger. Four-banger is 4 flags on 1 pole. So if you go up to the top, I got the God, Guns, and Trump flag, and that flew in the Capitol of D.C. on January 6th, and I had it with the Stop the Steal flag, the second up top.
You know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do.
Right, so he goes to these things and, you know, covers them. So I could actually, you know, that's a legitimate thing that I could do with their event, isn't it? Don't you think? Yeah, I thought it said Minster. Yeah, in my brain I read Minster, but yeah, don't worry, I caught that. Hi, cute developers. Yeah, capital K sees them. Don't worry, they're Brazilian, and they're probably quite well off now actually, because their game Dandara did really well on the Nintendo Switch, and they're making another one. I'm going to get them on the show for an interview soon. I'm going to step into that department soon. We're pushing that way soon. But isn't it interesting that for this, I could actually, now I know there's an event, I'm actually so tempted to go to the conference, but I don't want to be seen, like I've done these videos now, and I hope I've been careful to do this, to not be mean to the people, to not bully the people, to raise my concerns about their ideas. And that's fair enough. These people should understand we have to be able to have a conversation and a debate. They presented their ideas, I'm critiquing them, I'm happy to let them have a say, you know, an answer back. Obviously, they can make videos on their own channel if they want. I'm not going to stop that. If they want to, you know, make videos saying that I'm wrong, whatever. But, you know, I'd like to be able to have that discourse. I'd also like to be able to do it in the Andrew Callaghan style, just going there, allowing them to be who they are, and then presenting it. And not, you know, the danger is, to the people on the Andrew Callaghan, I think the people on the Andrew Callaghan video don't realise that they're being made fun of. And were he to, because he does return to these places, and they're happy to see him. Because he's nice to them, he's personable, they just look silly on the edit. Sometimes the edit makes them look a bit silly, you know, they zoomed in on her mouth a bit, didn't they? But it's a very fine line. And I've done documentary where we are deliberately not making people look silly, and people worry about looking silly, and they, you know, are edgy about being on camera, and we put them at their ease. And one of the ways that we've put people, you should never show people the footage. You should never show them the stuff. We've got to edit it. We've got to colour grade it. Just showing you in the back of the camera is no good. But sometimes we show them a little reel to say, look, this is how it's going. oh, they say, oh, I look quite good in this. I look serious. You've edited that well. Oh, okay, that's cool. And then next time they're on camera, they're not worried that you're going to be trying to catch them out or, you know, zoom in on their crotch or do something weird. You have to make people feel comfortable to be on camera. Another part of that process is by being with them a long time. By you get the camera out on day one, and you're not actually filming on day one. You've got the camera out, so you are filming, but the stuff you capture is not going to be used really. You just want them to get used to the camera being on all the time, because you're documentary filming with them. So, you know, a lot of people, you point the camera up and they're like, oh, hi, I'm on camera now. Oh. And you were like, no, don't do that. Go back to what you were doing. You were just quietly working on that thing. That was interesting. I was trying to film it. Now you're like presenting it to me. Don't do that. Just be yourself, natural. So you use the camera a lot around them, and then they forget it's there, don't they? They're more used to you and the camera than they were. They kind of forget. And then you get the real, honest, you know, best stuff, I think. Not because you're catching them out and they forget it's there and they say something silly, but because, you know, you break down that initial barrier of anxiety. So I wonder how that would work, whether me asking if I could attend, whether it would be allowed, number one. I always go with my my informal films page. So this is the weird thing about media, isn't it? Look, informal films, this is my YouTube channel. I used to have a website, and I used to have a Vivo account, or whatever it's called, like much more professional, but I couldn't afford to keep them up because of COVID, and I wasn't getting anywhere with it because of COVID. Not just because of COVID, I didn't manage to sell that Stugan film. We're going to dip into that again on stream. We're going to show the whole film eventually. No worries, you know, no worries. We're going to get to that. But I come at people, I say, I'm Informal Films. Here is an example of my work. And here it is, and it looks, you know, quite reasonable. There's various different ideas in the different videos: strongman, hooping, veganism. You know, it's obvious I'm employed by these different people to do these different projects, and also in my own time I do a little bit myself. So I hope that comes across here. Like the Art Society exhibition, I wasn't employed to do this, but I did it. So what are you going to do? But, you know, people then click on my YouTube and they see this. And in the email, I often reference Eddie Strongman. I am Scott Jessup, producer of Eddie Strongman, open brackets, Netflix, close 2015, close brackets. You know, that should be enough, shouldn't it? We got something on Netflix. I was part of the team. I was the executive producer, sound man, camera. Not the only cameraman, of course, but, you know, one of the camera. I was part of the documentary team. I had it on Netflix. So quite often they're happy to say, all right, okay, fair enough. They've got like 20 emails about their festival or whatever it is they're doing, and you count as media, independent media.
I'm afraid of being watched as they work. I'm oblivious to it. Most of the time I'm in a world of my own. I'm totally absorbed in what I do, and I'm oblivious to people around me. I had a very good...
So, you know, I can come at them with that, can't I? Yeah? And then what they'll do, though, is they'll find this that we're doing now. They'll be like, what, Scott Jessup? I'll type that in, and then it doesn't come up Ganji Kid, does it? Ganji Kid doesn't come up Ganji Kid. So maybe they won't find me. But maybe if they do, they'll like me more, because I'm more on their team, aren't I? Look at my jumper, look at my beard. Like, you know, I'm one of us. I'm not one of Boris Johnson's mates. And in terms of Netflix and me, Netflix aren't calling me up. I haven't got any friends at Netflix that I can call. The one person that could help me get that second film onto Netflix, they decided not to help and go off and do something else. So I ended up just not managing to sell my film. So, you know, there are pros and cons. I don't know. What do I know? What do I know, eh? What do I know? It deletes comments that explain what's going on. Oh, so you've called him out and he's deleted the comments. Yeah, he's not going to like those. I wonder if it's... I love this one. We need to kill their cash flow. Maybe we could kill that. Maybe we could kill their cash flow. Maybe we could kill their cash. You know, maybe we could take down David. So, because your name there, David, is right next to Liedtke there. I'm reading the two things. I keep calling him David. You're not going to like that, David. We need to take down Martin, don't we? No, we don't. We don't need to take him down. I think I don't want to cause him harm. I don't want to cause him any angst or anguish, that's for sure, because I'm not that person. You know, even if he's doing things that I find confusing and dangerous and a little bit on the edge, I don't, you know, he's taking money from ignorant people maybe or whatever. That all, to me, falls in the same ballpark of someone who goes to McDonald's and upgrades to the mega value meal, or someone who is forced to buy the latest pair of Nike trainers, or is, you know, there are other forms of marketing and manipulation that are bigger and more powerful than Martin, and they're spreading equally spurious and dangerous ideas. So, you know, fight the power. That's what I was saying earlier. We need to come together as people that oppose the mainstream ideas and say, Boris, where's my chuffing money? Do you know what I mean? Where's my chuffing? Stop taxing me and making all the prices go up. Share that out a bit, you chuffer. We should be on the same team, essentially. So I don't know about making him hurty. I don't want to hurt him, but I also want to highlight, I think the way I just showed, you know, with that other guy and his video with those Americans, if we can point the camera at them and allow them to be themselves, maybe they will just show things that other people don't think are so sensible. You know, maybe they just don't look as good the more you put the camera on them. Maybe it's that. And I don't want them to feel that I'm coming with a negative, maybe I should just be more open-minded. Maybe I should just be more open-minded and just say, look, I'm going to go to the conference, I'm going to film what you say, and if you'll allow me, I'll edit it and put it on YouTube, and, you know, I'll just keep an open mind until I sit down in the edit and start hearing the things that are being said that I'm cutting into form on the cutting table. Maybe I'll do that. He took himself down a while back, gave his YouTube passwords out. Someone took it over and inundated it with Korean cartoons. Poor bloke. See, it's those things I worry about. If you're making mistakes like that, maybe I'm punching down. It's a hard one. I don't want to be too mean at the moment because I definitely want to consider going to the conference. Let's find out about the conference. His name is... Will it be on Google, or will Google be trying to hide it? Yeah. Look here. Look, it's the first one up. Maybe that's because I searched for it earlier, but it actually comes up quite... He's got a LinkedIn. How can you have a LinkedIn? Fuck the system. That can't be him, can it? Fuck the system. This can't be you. It isn't all, isn't it? See, I'm not part of LinkedIn because I'm not professional enough. I don't want to look at my CV. I don't want to fill in a chuffing CV. I hate it. I hate doing it. I'm not doing another form ever again. Made that decision a long time ago. Martin Liedtke. He's on LinkedIn. Oh, because look, it's in that. Here we go. Buy the book, mate. Obviously, don't come around my house. It doesn't show your full address. That's fine. But where's my browser? Where's my browser? I'll just cut the top off, won't I? Where's my browser? You chuffer. Chuffing and chuffing and chuffing. Just cut the top off like that so you don't see the first part of my address. It's too late now. It doesn't really matter. I'm nobody on the internet, and I own a hammer. So, you know, come and try your luck, frankly. Come and try your luck. I've got a hammer and an axe, so don't think I'm some pushover. Come and try your luck. The Holy Grail of Our Flat Earth Kindle edition. It's not. You can get it for free on Kindle. Oh, Kindle Unlimited. You have to sign up to Kindle. Fuck the system. What's going on now, Martin? Martin, listen. We've got an issue here, Martin. One of the first things that you said when I met you on the internet, Martin, when I was made aware of your work, Martin, one of the first things that you said to me on the internet when I was made aware of you, when I met you on the internet, Martin, one of the first things you said that made me feel that I liked you, that made me feel we had some common ground, was fuck the system, Martin. That's what you said. Now I'm playing with the system now. I used to have no adverts on my YouTube, on True by Norn ASMR. I used to have no adverts. It was a great, important thing of mine. And then YouTube sent me an email to say, we're putting adverts on your channel even if you don't like it. So, and that's true. That's honest true. They put adverts on non-monetized content now. They own it. They do what they want. So I said, all right, then we'll have the adverts. I'll put them on, but They give you, if you select yes adverts, you get some creative control. You can say no gambling adverts, no adverts about weird religious shit. So I've ticked all the things that I think are dangerous. No, thank you. Get rid of them. I've tried my hardest, but I am playing the system now. You know, I do want the money now that things have gone tits. I do want the money. You know, whatever. I also fall on the, you know, if you want to spin that coin, it could land on fuck the system, and I'd quite happily give up the money and just say fuck the system. Quite happy with that. So that was one of the things that I found, you know, I liked about you, David. But now you're selling this. Now, if I want to get your book for free, I have to sign up to Kindle Unlimited. I'm a bit worried. What am I doing giving my information to Kindle Unlimited for? What have Kindle got? What do they want with my information for no money? If I'm not paying for it, I'm the product. The paperback's only a tenner. Maybe I should pick that up for a tenner. I can buy it used for £5. This will excite him. Look, if he's watching this will excite the chuff out of him now. This will excite him. Oh, look, there's my... I'll have that. I've earned 4p there. This is me using the system. I've earned 4p there. Clicking on that. So I could get this this book, basically, couldn't I? Could buy that. I could pop it in my little basket now and just buy it. No, I've got your hopes up there. I've got your hopes up. Of course I'm not going to do that. I've got your hopes up, mate. I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you a tenner for some nonsense. You said all your nonsense on the internet and I've heard it. I'm not giving you a tenner for it all written down. But it's quite a good looking front cover. Do you think he's trying to get himself on the old Joe Rogan? You know, do you think he's trying to get himself on the old Joe Rogan? A bit like the, bit like that Graham Hancock, isn't it? It's a bit like that Graham Hancock. He's like a pound shop Hancock. So in all the bookshops. So if I want to find Martin on the internet and I want to go to his conference, first of all, I'm beaten down by a slew of internet commerce. 1, 2, 3. There's the YouTube. 4 Waterstones. They're part of the system. Amazon and LinkedIn. I'm just hit with a slew of commerce. YouTube's part of the system, isn't it? We're on it. It's part of it. I'm hit with a slew of commerce. It's all Google and bookshop. It's all shopping. It's all the system. The other book is The Holy Grail of the Great Reset. I mean, maybe I should read it. Maybe his ideas are more in order than on these disjointed videos. But what I want to know about is the conference, mate. I think they're live on YouTube now, are they? We're not live on YouTube now, are we? No, it was just in the description. That's a shame. Where's the conference? If you can find the conference for me, I can go to it. But I can't find the damn conference. You'd think you'd want that on your Google search. Martin. UK Tour and Conference 2022. Okay, there we go. Hang on. This looks dodgy. You know when you can print your own book? You know you don't have to get a publisher these days. You can just print your own book. Is that what this is? And is this their website? They've set up, so it looks like, you know, they've got a publisher. But this Bewley Books only has... How many authors have they got on there? Oh no, there's a load of different stuff, I guess. I was going to say, is this just them? No, there's loads of it, look. Well, 5 of them. Fine. Martin's a leading light who puts his neck on the line for truth. Martin is a leading light who puts his neck on the line for truth, it says here. He got involved in archaeology and our historical roots. You don't need to. He got involved. This is a publisher. Martin got involved in archaeology and our historical roots. But while digging away at ancient sites, he unearthed more questions than answers were given. You want to Grammarly that one. You want to get Grammarly for that one. Rather than accept the narrative presented, Martin began to pose questions of his own. And began to explore. So that's an issue. That's a big red flag for me. That's a big issue, because there's punctuation problems littering the web page of the publisher. If only they knew an editor. What Martin found was earth-shattering and mind-blowing in italics, and mind-blowing is hyphenated, and you've got to decided that's worth an exclamation mark. If you want to highlight it, you can do it in bold. Just do it in bold. As you listen to his revelations on his YouTube channel, you'll want to read his book for more in-depth information or clarity than you can physically hold in your own hands. As you listen to his revelations on his YouTube channel, you'll want to read his book for more in-depth information than you can physically hold in your hands. Martin's work offers you an alternative view of our historical roots, which are more fantastically mysterious than you'd ever know. It's a history that reveals concrete proof that we're living on a flat plane. His findings consistently challenge the accepted format that we've been spoon-fed since birth. Spoon-fed is hyphenated. And each of his revelations encourages you to open your own eyes to start your own quest for truth. So... it looks like you've got reviews here, but Alex, Goodreads. Alex doesn't work for Goodreads. He's just reviewed it on Goodreads. So you don't know what these... and I don't know if you can... Karen is a fan. Yeah, just Karen. Not Karen anyone or anything. Just Karen. So. First full UK tour. 2022. February, March. Tickets. David, look, this is it. I found it. Tickets. Come and get your tickets. Alternatively, I don't need a ticket, do I? I mean, this might sound bad, but if I want to go walking around March, April, where's the next? February, March. Saturday 16th of April, have I missed it? Am I still in? No, we can get to that. Birmingham, that's near where I live. That's the conference. Oh, it's all meant to be. It's all meant to be. It's not quite meant to be. There's another couple of issues I have. I on these sort of things, I like someone else to drive. Got lots of kits to carry. I like someone else to drive. I'll need a camera person if I'm either the camera person or I'm the interviewer. I find it difficult being both. And I haven't organised a ticket and I haven't organised a media pass. If I were to pay, I'd be giving him £35 for a souvenir tour keyring, a programme, tea and biscuits, which are vegan, so licensed bar, a restaurant. I'm not, obviously, I have to pay extra for that. Registration opens at 10 a.m. for an 11 a.m. start, so I don't have to buy in advance, I can just turn up. Conference at Jury's in Birmingham. Maybe I can go to this, because I was worried about it, but maybe I will just drive myself. Copy. It's all meant to be. I don't want them all being mean to me and attacking me and being mean to me, and some of them might give me COVID. It's a hotel. Maybe I could just get a room at the hotel and just be there, and then they can't stop me. Where are we on? Just on Broad Street. Why are we in the city centre? Madness. You want to be on the outskirts, somewhere a bit cheaper. That's Broad Street. That's bang in the middle. I know where that is. It's a bit of a drive up the road for me, but I can just get up there in the car park. I have to pay long. See, this is another thing. Long stay in the car park. I don't want to be paying for all that and messing about. We're just on the Chuffing Broad Street. There's a strip club. This should have all been under mud. And there it is. There it is. Saturday daytime. Busy. It would be. Just these streets would be busy. Saturday daytime. I'd have to get up and I'd have to get myself down there this weekend. I'm not promising anything, team, but I'm also kind of enamoured with the whole concept. There's two other problems. I'll need their permission to film, and I will need them to sign the release forms. I haven't got any release forms printed up right now. I might have some kicking around from old projects. I would need to make contact in advance because I can't just turn up and say, I hope they let me film, and then they say, no, you can't film, and then I've got nothing and I've driven all the way there. Or maybe I can. Maybe that's just a thing that I can do. I think I might be able to sort myself out with someone to drive. Even if they don't want to come and do this thing with me, they could just drive to Birmingham, park up, they can go and have some fun in Birmingham, and I can do my thing. Right, this has led us down a right rabbit hole that I've got to now try and follow up. Where's this? 20th of March. We've missed that one, so it has to be the conference. I'm trying to read more, but there's no read more. I can do this. I can do Martin, Liedtke, and then I can do juries in media. Look, holistic media, a bit like me. Oh, I thought it was a video. No, there are videos. The speakers at the conference. I've got to go. And also, I'll be able to smoke weed there, won't I? So that'll be good. I could go. I'm saying this on the internet now. It's too late. I'm saying it, but I could go in secret, couldn't I? Incognito. I could just invent a name and, you know, turn up and be like, you know, hi, can I take some film? Can I film with you? Can I video this? You know, like. You get your key ring. Make sure you get your key ring. Look. My worry, though, as well, honestly, my worry here is that some of these people might catch on with, like, they might have seen any of the videos, they might catch on, they might be mean to me. They might be aggressive or mean to me. I worry about that. So usually I like to have somebody bigger than me with me. Now I found holistic media. Here's another giant mountain of chuff. Tartarian airships, there's a good one to look into in the future. Great. We're really down the rabbit hole now, aren't we? But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here. I'll ruminate over this on the dog walk and later. And now's about time for that thing, exact that thing to happen. I'm going to go and walk the dog. I'll be back on Twitch 8 PM GMT with Mental Health Monday. And I've got a lot to think about now. I don't know, I've got a lot to think about. Certainly the disturbing world of Martin Liedtke is now, it's less disturbing and slightly more intriguing. But for all the wrong reasons. The hotel's on a slope. It must be, maybe that's why they chose the hotel. Because it's a great example of a mudflood location, maybe. But then you wouldn't want to be in a hotel like that, would you? Because it's run by the bad people. and you're paying them to be in part of their bad people system. So they're going to have bugs and cameras, and there's going to be infiltrators, and the more successful David, like remember, sorry, Martin, the more successful Martin is, remember, David, that these people, the whole world has been conspiring to keep this secret for a very long time. So there's a lot of there's a lot of people that might want to take these people down and silence them. So somehow Martin's managed to slip through the net. Somehow Martin's managed to get the truth out where everyone else has been silenced. But I would worry about, hiring a hotel in the middle of Birmingham. Seems like the belly of the beast in a way, doesn't it? Could be worse, could be London. Right, you all be good. I'm going to get off, walk the dog, be back on for some Mental Health Monday later on, 8 PM GMT.